Chapter 212. The ghost knocks on the window, ugh. Meng Yao's words made Yushu a little embarrassed. Yao, don't say that. I'm the one who suggested this bet, I can't just let it go, right? Plus, I actually told Shield Bro while you were on the phone. I asked him to act with me later. Wah! Meng Yao blinked. She hadn't expected Yushu to greet Lin Yi in the few seconds it took for her to pick up the phone. This guy. Could it be that the previous scene was just an act by the two of them? Meng Yao glared at Yushu. Shoo! Oh. I admit my wrongdo. Don't be mad, Yao. Yushu jumped as she ran back to her room. Meng Yao didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but she didn't say anything else. Wasn't this a perfect ending already? She'd really gone a little overboard today. That night, Pinliang was sitting in his room on the second floor of his villa, watching a horror movie on his computer with all his attention. Pinliang was actually a very cowardly kid, wetting his bed when he was 8, not daring to sleep alone when he was 10, and not daring to go out alone when he was 12. It didn't fit with the domineering image he had at school, and so Pinliang came up with a masterstroke. He'd hide in his room and watch horror movies in the dead of the night. He'd been scared shitless at first, but he'd slowly built up some courage now. At the very least, he was brave enough to sleep alone and go out at night. But Pinliang was still a little scared when he watched horror movies. He didn't dare turn off the lights, always keeping the lights on. The movie he was watching today was about a kid who lived alone in a villa, and every night, he would hear someone knocking on the window. Why was it so scary? Pinliang shivered. His parents weren't home tonight, so it wouldn't be possible that something was knocking on his window, would it? Just as Pinliang was concentrating on the movie, a black shadow leaped onto his windowsill. Dang dang dang. Dang dang dang. A few knocks sounded on the window. Oh! Pinliang cried out as he fell on his butt. Who are you? Dang dang dang. Dang dang dang. A few more knocking sounds could be heard. Pinliang was a little scared, but he forced himself to look at the window. Was he really that unlucky? Did watching a movie attract something that shouldn't have come? Pinliang let out a sigh of relief when he saw the person's face. He was puzzled at the same time. Why was he here? Pinliang couldn't care less about his smelly pants as he ran to the window and opened it. Hey Bao Bro, why are you here? It was Hey Bao Bro, who'd escaped from the police car earlier today. He'd snuck into Pinliang's room under the cover of the night, hoping to get some money for his escape and discuss revenge. Master Zhong, I beat up a couple of cops on the way to the detention center today. I ran out of the police car. Hey Bao jumped into the room, his agility shocking Pinliang. Hey Bao Bro, how did you get up here? Pinliang knew the structure of his villa very well. It was covered in mosaics, and there wasn't a single gap for his feet to land on. Climbing up was impossible, and jumping up was even more impossible. It was almost 10 meters tall. Was that a joke? I jumped up. Hey Bao said faintly. I'm no longer the old Hey Bao, Master Zhong. I'm a golden class late phase peak now. Golden class late phase peak? What kind of strength is that? Pinliang wasn't very clear on the division of strength in Jianghu. Just a little stronger than normal special forces. Hey Bao said. That song girl from the criminal police is only golden class mid-phase. Oh! Pinliang didn't understand. Hey Bao Bro, how did you get so strong all of a sudden? Hey Bao Bro had seemed really weak when he'd been beaten up by Lin Yi, but now, as he said, even Ling Shan wasn't a match for Hey Bao Bro, and judging from his agility, he didn't seem to be lying. Now that he thought about it, his strength must have increased all of a sudden. If only he'd been this strong when he was fighting Lin Yi. Pinliang thought regretfully. Humph, in my early years, I once entered a mysterious Jianghu sect. Inside the sect, there was a very powerful martial arts secret manual, one of which relied on consuming one's lifespan to increase one's strength to the extreme. Black Leopard did not hide anything, but because I violated the sect rules, I was expelled from the sect. Before I left, I made a copy of the chapter on how to quickly increase one's strength. Pinliang didn't understand, but nodded anyway. He wasn't an idiot. So this method of increasing strength or whatnot has a flaw, right? Yes, not only is there a flaw, but it's a big one. First, you'll have to sacrifice 5 years of your lifespan. Second, this speed increase only lasts about a month, after which you'll become a normal person, and your main meridians will be damaged. You won't be able to practice martial arts for the rest of your life. Heibao said. But compared to the punishment I'll have to face, this sacrifice is worth it. Heibao had run away because he knew that he'd committed a serious crime this time. Illegal possession of a gun, causing trouble, intentional injury, plus the fact that he didn't commit any crimes in the past and had some previous records in the police station. Now that everything had been dug up, he'd probably have to face at least 10 years in prison. Heibao couldn't wait any longer, and so he'd taken the risk. 10 years in prison. For someone like Heibao who loved to enjoy life, he'd rather die. He'd escaped to do two things. One was to find Lin Yi for revenge. Not only had the guy sent him to the police station, but half of his face hadn't even recovered yet, and the wound on his hand from the gun was still throbbing. This was the greatest humiliation Heibao had ever suffered since he'd started his career. The second was to borrow some money from Pinliang after dealing with Lin Yi, and then run away from the city, living the rest of his life in style. Chapter 213. Heibao's Revenge. Don't worry, Master Zhong. Every debt has its debtor. This has nothing to do with you. It's all that Lin Yi kid's fault. I'm here to make him disappear from the face of the earth, to vent my anger. Heibao saw through Pinliang's worry and explained bitterly. But I'm penniless right now, so I'll need Master Zhong's full support for my finances. Pinliang let out a sigh of relief at the words. As long as Heibao bro wasn't here to cause trouble, everything was fine. It was just money, wasn't it? Pinliang had money, and Heibao bro was taking the fall for him, even helping him deal with Lin Yi. Pinliang was over the moon. Don't worry, Heibao bro, money's not a problem. I'll talk to my dad and give you $1 million first. Pinliang said. But we'll have to think about how to deal with Lin Yi. We can't do it in school. We'll have to find a different place. Thank you, Master Zhong. Pinliang's generosity put Heibao at ease, giving him $1 million on his first try. It seemed like his trip here hadn't been in vain. House Zhong had treated him well, and it was worth it to take the fall for him. As for dealing with Lin Yi, he wasn't stupid enough to do it in public. He nodded. That's right, we'll have to think about it carefully, but not for too long. My strength'll return to normal, and I won't be able to beat that kid. Don't worry, Heibao bro, it'll only be a few days. Pinliang, on the other hand, wanted to kill Lin Yi as soon as possible. The more he looked at the guy, the angrier he got. How dare he kick him in the face in class, humiliating him. Pinliang wouldn't be able to rest until he got his revenge. All right, I'll be leaving then. This is my number. With that, Heibao handed Pinliang a piece of paper with his number on it. News of my escape will be released soon, and the police will definitely notice you then. I'm not afraid of anything, they can't catch me with my current strength, but don't drag you guys into it. All right, Heibao bro. I'll tell my dad to give you a call once I've gathered $1 million. Pinliang said, a little touched. This Heibao bro was a good person, not afraid of getting him involved. There's no need to rush. Let's get rid of Lin Yi first. Black Panther was obviously so angry with Lin Yi that he gnashed his teeth. If that kid doesn't die, I won't be at ease for the rest of my life. All right, Heibao bro, you go first. I'll talk to my dad and think of a way to deal with Lin Yi. I'll call you later. Pinliang nodded. Heibao nodded and didn't say anything else. He patted Pinliang's shoulder and jumped up the window, disappearing into the darkness. Fuck, it can't be? Why does he look like a legendary martial arts master? Pinliang looked at the empty window and couldn't help but click his tongue. He walked to the window and looked down. Heibao bro was long gone. He must have left. If it weren't for the fact that he could see the scene clearly, and the contact number Heibao bro gave him, Pinliang would have thought that he was dreaming. After Heibao bro left, Pinliang quickly took out his phone and dialed his father's number. After a while, the call finally connected. Sounds of noises came from the other end. Obviously, Zhong Fabai had a dinner party outside and was drinking. Pinliang, what's up? Dad, it's urgent. Can you come back for a bit? Pinliang subconsciously lowered his voice even though he knew that no one was eavesdropping. What's up? I'm out with a client, and your mom's there too. We're old friends, it's not good for you to leave. Fabai said. It's really urgent. Dad, come back quickly. Pinliang didn't want his father to be overheard, so he didn't want to believe it too much. Pinliang, What's going on? Why are you so inconsiderate? Dad's really busy here. Fabai was a little displeased. What could possibly happen at this time of the night? Hey Bao Bro broke out of prison. Pin Liang lowered his voice again. What? What did you say? Fabai paused. Wait for me, I'll be back soon. Fabai's heart tightened when he heard that Hey Bao Bro had escaped. He couldn't be bothered with his client anymore. This was a big deal, and he might even drag his son into it. It wasn't easy for him to find a lawyer to meet with Hey Bao and ask him to take responsibility for everything. He'd reward Hey Bao heavily when he was released, but now that Hey Bao had escaped, things became complicated. He didn't want anything to go wrong. Zhong Fabai looked at his wife and said, Xiaohua, stay here and accompany your old friend. Something happened to Pin Liang. I have to hurry back. All right, hurry up and go. Fabai's wife, naturally, knew that something big must have happened if her husband left at this time. She didn't ask and only comforted him. Leave it to me, old friend. Everyone knows I can drink. Let's continue. Although the guests at the table were somewhat dissatisfied with Zhong Fabai's sudden departure, they could only nod in agreement when they heard Fabai's wife's words. Everyone was very familiar with each other, so it wasn't appropriate for them to say too much. Fabai came down from the bar and left the car to his wife. He flagged down a taxi and went back home. He didn't even bother to take off his coat. He shouted as soon as he entered the door. Pin Liang, where are you? I'm back. Pin Liang heard his father's voice and quickly ran out of the room. Dad, I'm here. What happened? How did Hey Bao escape? Tell me, how did you find out about this? The news didn't spread? Fabai asked, confused. After all, Hey Bao escaping was a big deal. The news should be out, but there was no news yet. How did Pin Liang know? However, before Pin Liang could say anything, Fabai's phone rang. Zhong Fabai looked at the caller ID and immediately gestured to his son to keep quiet. He picked up the phone. Captain Song, it's so late. Why are you calling me? Chairman Zhong? I have bad news for you. Hey Bao escaped. Ling Shan didn't want to make this call, but she had to. After Hey Bao escaped, one of his targets was Lin Yi, and the other was Fabai. Chapter 214. Late night. Fabai had adopted a nonchalant attitude ever since Hey Bao entered the police station. He'd only hired a lawyer and ignored Hey Bao after that. Logically speaking, with Fabai's connections in the city, he should have been able to find a few people he could talk to, but there wasn't any. Ling Shan thought that Fabai was afraid of getting her and his son into trouble, so he gave up on Hey Bao. Naturally, she didn't know that Fabai had already reached an agreement with Hey Bao through a lawyer, so Hey Bao wouldn't go after House Zhong. Oh, is that so? Fabai said faintly. Captain Song, I'm not that close with Hey Bao. He's just the captain of the security team I hired. Now that he's been arrested, I hired a lawyer for him out of humanitarianism, so he has nothing to do with our company anymore. Ling Shan was a little annoyed at the words. The guy was trying to push the blame away, but would Hey Bao think the same way? Will he retaliate against you? Mr. Zhong, I have to remind you that Hey Bao might come after you for revenge. Ling Shan said faintly, holding back her anger. Revenge? Why would he do that? I give him a salary every month, and a bonus. Fabai smiled. Captain Song, you're worrying too much, aren't you? But thanks for the reminder. I'll be careful. You know why, of course. I don't need to explain. Ling Shan smiled coldly. It's best if you hire a bodyguard to protect your son 24/7. Contact me if you need help from the police. Ling Shan didn't like Fabai, but she still had to remind him to be careful as a police officer. Oh, I will, don't worry. Fabai said. I'll contact you guys as soon as I get news of Hey Bao. Fabai's face turned serious as he hung up. Pin Liang, how did you know Hey Bao escaped? The police had just called him, and his son already knew about Hey Bao's escape. His son's information network. Dad, I saw Hey Bao bro. He was here just now. Pin Liang said. He's here? What's he doing here? Did he threaten you? Fabai's face was even scarier than before. He was just dealing with Ling Shan, trying to clear his name, but he still remembered Ling Shan's words. Hey Bao really might take revenge on his son. Dad, don't worry. Brother Hey Bao isn't that kind of person. Pin Liang said. He won't do anything to us. He's after Lin Yi, not me. How did you know? Did he tell you that? Zhong Fabai paused. Pin Liang, tell me what's going on? Dad, it's like this. Pin Liang explained. I was watching a movie in my room when a black shadow jumped onto the windowsill, giving me a fright. Jump onto the windowsill? Are you kidding me? Your room is on the second floor, and it's almost 10 meters high. Fabai paused, looking at his son in disbelief. Dad, I'm not too sure, but he said that he joined a sect a long time ago, and that sect has a martial art that can quickly increase a person's strength. At the cost of 5 years of lifespan, he can increase his strength to golden class late phase peak in a month. Pin Liang said. What? Golden class late phase peak? Pin Liang didn't know what this meant, but Fabai knew. He'd been in the world of martial arts for a long time, and naturally, he knew what this meant. Not to mention the late phase of the golden class, among his friends, there was only one master who had just reached the early phase of the golden class, and this person was only on the same level as him. He didn't work for him, and he could only look for him when he was in trouble. This person could already be said to be invincible in the city. Then what kind of existence would a peak late phase golden class be? Heibao had reached this level? It was only a month, but it wasn't easy at all. Yes, that's what he said. Pin Liang nodded. Dad, is this golden class late phase peak strong? Very strong. Unimaginably strong. What else did he say to you? Fabai sucked in a breath of cold air. If he hadn't reached an agreement with Heibao through his lawyer, Pin Liang and himself would have been the first targets of Heibao's revenge. He said that he's looking for Lin Yi for revenge, and after that, he needs money to escape. I've already agreed to it. Pin Liang said. Dad, I said that I can give him 1 million for the first transaction. You won't blame me for acting on my own, right? You did well. Fabai said. 1 million is nothing to us. Just give it to him. If he wants to escape, give him 2 million too. As for him looking for Lin Yi for revenge, you don't have to get involved. Dad, I hate that Lin Yi too. You don't know how arrogant that kid is. I was in class, talking to Meng Yao at noon, but Lin Yi thought that I was blocking his way, so he kicked me and sent me sprawling on the ground. I'm still hurting from the fall. Pin Liang added fuel to the fire. This kid is an obstacle to my pursuit of Meng Yao, and I have to get rid of him. Oh? If that's the case, then don't get involved in the open. Just give Heibao some pointers in the dark. Fabai nodded. Pin Liang, you're all grown up now. From what you just did, I won't say much. Just do what you think is right. Thanks, Dad. Pin Liang nodded. Right, Dad, I've already given Naipeo the 700,000. Yes, this person will be yours in the future. 700,000 for a loyal follower is worth it. Fabai said without hesitation. That night, Pin Liang started thinking about how to deal with Lin Yi. He'd wanted to get rid of Lin Yi at first, wishing that Lin Yi would get run over by a car in the morning. But now, after seeing Heibao Bro's amazing martial arts, and hearing his father's praise of a golden class late phase peak master, his heart started beating faster. The thought of killing Lin Yi became even crazier. He couldn't let Lin Yi die just like that. He had to make him suffer before he died. Otherwise, the hatred in his heart would never be appeased. This guy had humiliated him, and his reputation in the school had plummeted. The third brother of the Big Four used to be so powerful, but now he was being laughed at behind his back. Chapter 2:15. Chance meeting at the hospital. Pin Liang had grown up in a family like this, with a father who was half black and half white. He was a coward, but that didn't mean he wasn't a coward. He wanted Lin Yi to die, but he didn't feel guilty at all. Not only that, but he wanted Lin Yi to die even more cruelly. That was the difference between a child born in a family like this and a normal one. What could he do to make Lin Yi suffer more? Pin Liang wasn't interested in physical torture anymore, and beating up Lin Yi was pointless. The mental torture was far more painful than the physical torture. Pin Liang, who'd been watching horror movies to build up his courage, knew this very well. So if he wanted to torture Lin Yi, he'd have to start with his soul and spirit. Right. Pin Liang remembered that Zhou Ruoming had talked to him about Tang Yin. If Tang Yin was harmed by Zhou Ruoming, and Lin Yi watched her before he died, he wouldn't be able to rest in peace. Pin Liang couldn't help but laugh out loud at the thought. He really was a genius, coming up with such a despicable plan. Lin Yi would probably feel great if he saw his beloved woman get harmed by Zhou Ruoming, and then get beaten to death by Heibao Bro without being able to do anything about it. He'd probably turn into a vengeful spirit from a horror movie. Pinliang decided that he'd go talk to Zhou Ruoming on Monday morning. Of course, he couldn't tell him that he was the one who killed Lin Yi. He could only say that he could help. On Sunday morning, Lin Yi was woken up by Kong Xiaobo's call. "Boss, I want to go to the hospital to see Fun. Do you want to come?" Kong Xiaobo hadn't slept well the night before. He was suffering from insomnia again. The reason why he couldn't sleep was because he could go to Tang Yun's house to eat barbecue. It was enough for him to brag about. But now, Kong Xiaobo had forgotten about this capital to brag about. All his attention was placed on Xiao Fun. Last night, it was the first time Kong Xiaobo couldn't sleep because of a girl. He sympathized with Xiao Fun, but he also hated his second cousin, Kong Ming. A good girl had become like this because of him, but he didn't care and didn't even appear again. Xiao Fun's family was already very poor, and Xiao Fun's illness was even worse. This made Kong Xiaobo very angry. He wanted to call his second cousin several times to question him, but he held back. After all, he only listened to Tang Yun's side of the story. Although he was leaning towards Tang Yun, he still needed to ask Xiaofan to know the details. Moreover, when two people were in a relationship, it was hard to say who was right or wrong if one of them had a change of heart. It was just that if Kong Ming was so heartless, he wouldn't be human. "Do you want me to drive you there, or do you want me to go with you?" Lin Yi took the phone and got up from the bed. "Both." Kong Xiaobo laughed. "Boss, first, I want to get a ride with you. Second, if you don't go with me, it would be a bit abrupt for me to go alone. With your relationship with Tang Yun, it's normal for you to visit her friend." "What relationship do I have with Tang Yun?" Lin Yi smiled bitterly. "We don't have a relationship yet." "It doesn't matter if you have a relationship or not. You and her are much closer than me and Xiao Fun. If you don't go, it won't be good for me to go." Kong Xiaobo said, "Boss, please take care of your younger brother's love. Since I have decided, I will go forward bravely. I won't back down." "Okay, then wait for me at the place yesterday. I will pack up and go there in about an hour," Lin Yi said. Xiaobo was Lin Yi's only brother in school. Naturally, he'd support him. Xiaobo was a good guy, and he was loyal as well. Lin Yi would help Xiaobo if he could in something harmless like this. Lin Yi put down the phone and put on his clothes. He looked at the time. It was only 7-something. This Kong Xiaobo was really early. Ever since Lin Yi was able to communicate with Jiao Lao in his sleep, he was very happy. This old man knew a lot of things. It seemed like he was omnipotent. He went to the kitchen first and used the leftover anchovies from yesterday. Lin Yi cut a few potatoes and put them into the electric pressure cooker together. There was an advantage to stewing potatoes in the electric pressure cooker. It was a short stew time. Mingyao's kitchen had all kinds of cooking utensils. It was just that most of them were unused. Although the pot was placed in a box on the cabinet, there was still an instruction manual inside. The electric pressure cooker had a timer function, so Lin Yi didn't need to set anything manually. He left a note for Mengyao and Yushu, telling them to eat when they woke up. He had something to do. After that, Lin Yi left the villa. The matter of Yushu's car being smashed up was already over, and Lin Yi didn't bother calling Li Fu to fix it. He'd leave it at that for now, since it wouldn't affect his usage. Kong Xiaobo was already waiting at the Ningshi Road bus stop. Lin Yi picked him up and headed to Songshan's First People's Hospital. He didn't see Fun's family in the emergency room. Fun's bed had been replaced by an old auntie. Kong Xiaobo asked around and found out that Fun's family had been transferred to the inpatient department. Guan Xian, the nurse who'd helped him change his bandages earlier, came in with the medicine. She was slightly taken aback when she saw Lin Yi. "Lin Yi? Why are you here?" Guan Xian's voice was a little surprised. Guan Xian had been worried about Lin Yi's injury for the past few days. Lin Yi hadn't come back since Lin Yi changed his bandages, and Guan Xian was worried that something had gone wrong. In fact, Guan Xian was looking forward to seeing Lin Yi more often. She had an indescribable fondness for the man who saved her life. It wasn't exactly fond. Guan Xian wasn't that infatuated with him, but it was a good feeling. She'd think about him when she couldn't see him. She'd thought that she'd never see Lin Yi again, but here she was again in the hospital. Guan Xian was both surprised and happy. Guan Xian? Haha, I have a friend in the hospital, so I came to see her. Lin Yi wasn't expecting to see Guan Xian here. Oh! Guan Xian nodded. The injury on your leg. It's healed a long time ago. Lin Yi smiled. Thank you. Guan Xian wanted to say something else, but one of the doctors in the room called her over to change the bandages. Guan Xian had no choice but to apologize to Lin Yi and leave reluctantly. She wanted to ask for Lin Yi's number, but couldn't bring herself to do so. She was a girl after all, and it wasn't right for her to ask for a man's number. Chapter 2:16. Understanding in the ward area, Lin Yi and Kong Xiaobo found Fan's room. It was an 8-person room, even more crowded than a 4-person room in the emergency room. Adding in the family members, the room was very crowded, and the air was very turbid. Kong Xiaobo frowned. This kind of environment wasn't good for Fan's illness at all. She needed to rest, and this noisy room wasn't good at all. But thinking about Fan's family, Kong Xiaobo could only sigh. His family wasn't that well off either, or he could have used the money to transfer Fan to a better room. Lin Yi naturally noticed the expression on Kong Xiaobo's face. He smiled and patted his shoulder. The deposit I paid should be enough for her to transfer to a better room. As for Chen Tian's money, Lin Yi didn't mind it at all. What's more, he wasn't spending it on someone else, but on his future sister-in-law. Naturally, Lin Yi wouldn't feel bad about it. But, boss, this money. Kong Xiaobo hesitated. After all, Lin Yi was loaning the money to Fan's family. Lin Yi wasn't himself, and he wouldn't get anything in return if he spent it on Fan. Ha, just treat it as spending it on you. You don't have to pay it back, Lin Yi smiled. Thanks. Kong Xiaobo nodded. He knew that Lin Yi wasn't joking. And so, Kong Xiaobo didn't hesitate. He wouldn't regret following a boss like this for the rest of his life. Kong Xiaobo quickly walked to Fan's bed. Fan had already woken up, and her face had regained some color. Tang Yun and Lu Xinwen were there, talking to her. Hui Ping, on the other hand, was peeling an apple for Fan. Auntie's song. Kong Xiaobo was a little embarrassed. After all, he wasn't familiar with her. He saved Fan yesterday and came to the hospital with her, but it didn't seem like a good thing if he came today. Oh, Xiaobo is here. Hui Ping evidently had a good impression of Kong Xiaobo. She stood up with a smile and handed the apple to Kong Xiaobo. Here, have an apple? No, Auntie, give it to Fan. I can eat anywhere, she needs nutrition. Kong Xiaobo quickly declined. Fan blushed when she saw Kong Xiaobo. When she woke up today, Tang Yun and Lu Xinwen told her about Kong Xiaobo. She also knew about what happened yesterday. Kong Xiaobo saved her, but she mistook Kong Xiaobo for Kong Mingming. Thank you for yesterday, Kong Xiaobo. Fan sat up a little embarrassedly and greeted Xiaobo with a blushing face. Her voice was very melodious. Ah, you're welcome, hee. It was Kong Xiaobo's first time seeing a normal Fan. He was so excited that he danced when he heard her talking to him. Also, yesterday in the hospital, I'm sorry, I mistook you for him. Although Fan didn't want to talk about it, she still had to apologize to Kong Xiaobo. In reality, Fan knew that Kong Xiaoming would never change his mind. It was just that sometimes she just had to live in an illusion. It's fine. Haha, Kong Xiaobo waved his hand. It's fine as long as you're fine. All right, I've talked to the boss to transfer you to a better ward. Ah. Fan was surprised. She heard from Tang Yun that Kong Xiaobo seemed to be interested in her, but Fan didn't think much about it. After all, she was a disabled person and had schizophrenia. How could a young man like Kong Xiaobo like her? But after hearing what Kong Xiaobo said, she couldn't help but believe Tang Yun's words. If Kong Xiaobo didn't have any feelings for her, why would he come to the hospital the next day and transfer her to a ward? Hui Ping also saw through Kong Xiaobo's thoughts. She was also confused. If her daughter wasn't in this accident, she would be a flower in the slums. Although she wasn't as pretty as Tang Yun, she was still outstanding. But now, what did Kong Xiaobo like about her daughter? Hui Ping was a little confused. Her family didn't have anything to covet, but her daughter was in this situation. This is my boss's idea. It's fine, my boss's family is rich. He doesn't lack this little bit. Kong Xiaobo played dumb and pushed this matter to Lin Yi. Lin Yi was speechless. His family was rich? The two girls in his family were quite rich, but Fun Yu and Tang Yun are best friends. My boss and Tang Yun. Hee hee. Kong Xiaobo smiled ambiguously. Lin Yi really wanted to kick this bastard in front of him to death. How could he talk about his boss behind his back to pick up girls? Did he drag his relationship with Tang Yun into this? As expected, Tang Yun glared at Kong Xiaobo unhappily. But she couldn't refute it. Because Kong Xiaobo's intention was good. He wanted to change Fan to a better ward. Tang Yun also knew that this kind of ward wasn't good for Fan's condition. If she denied Kong Xiaobo's words, wouldn't it mean that Fan would continue to stay here? Tang Yun thought about it. Since Lin Yi was rich, it was fine for him to spend a little. What did it have to do with her? He was paying for his lackey to pick up girls. Tang Yun felt a bit better when she thought about it. Xiaofan looked at Tang Yun in confusion. Seeing that Tang Yun didn't speak, she looked at Lu Xinwen. Lu Xinwen secretly nodded at Xiaofan. Xiaofan was confused. Tang Yun was in love? Was it Kong Xiaobo's boss in front of her? But there were many people in the ward. Her mother was also here. Fan didn't want to ask for details. She believed Kong Xiaobo's words. Auntie Song, don't worry. My boss will pay for it. Let's help Fan change to another ward. Kong Xiaobo passionately wanted to find a doctor. Lin Yi understood Kong Xiaobo's eagerness to show off. After all, she was the first girl that he fell for. He wanted to show off. So towards Kong Xiaobo's words, Lin Yi laughed it off. He waved at Tang Yun, and Tang Yun raised her head in confusion, pointing at herself with her finger. Was he calling her? Lin Yi nodded. Tang Yun stood up unwillingly and walked towards Lin Yi. What is it? In order to chase Fan, Kong Xiaobo needs a reason to get close to her. So he used us. Lin Yi explained. Do you understand? Tang Yun nodded unhappily but didn't refute. Then don't take it seriously. Chapter 217. Chapter 217. Ward disturbance. Tang Yun hesitated for a bit before following Lin Yi out of the ward. Xiaofan didn't say anything about her impression of Kong Xiaobo. She should only be grateful, right? Then do you think there's any hope for him? Lin Yi asked. How would I know? Tang Yun humphed. Everyone around you is learning from you, going after girls instead of going to school. Let's not talk about me, Lin Yi said. But I think Kong Xiaobo probably has feelings for her. Tang Yun looked at Kong Xiaobo's back thoughtfully. If Kong Xiaobo really did have feelings for her, then she wouldn't mind matchmaking them. After all, if Xiaofan could accept Kong Xiaobo, then she would be able to walk out of the shadow. Are you sure it's not just a moment of impulse? That he wants to be with Xiaofan for the rest of his life? Isn't he just playing around like you? Why do you always put it on me? I've never told you that I want to play with you. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. I'm not sure if Kong Xiaobo did it on a moment of impulse, but I don't think so. Tang Yun glared at Lin Yi. A girl's reputation is very important. Xiaofan has been hurt once, and she can't get hurt a second time. Lin Yi didn't think that Tang Yun was the type of girl who wouldn't let go once she set her eyes on someone. Most people would worry that their girlfriend would run away when they found a beautiful girlfriend, but Tang Yun wouldn't have such a problem. As the two were talking, Kong Xiaobo started arguing in front of them. Xiaobo was arguing with a middle-aged man about something, and Huiping was trying to calm him down with a worried look on her face. It's not like we don't have to pay for it. Why can't they arrange a separate room for us? Xiaobo was getting really pissed off, and he brought Huiping over to the dean excitedly to ask for a private room, only to be rebuffed by the dean's no. Just as he walked out of the chief's office, a doctor in a white coat led a patient's family member into the chief's office. The doctor smiled and told the chief that the patient was his buddy. He asked the chief to arrange a high-class ward for him. In the end, the chief didn't even think about it and arranged a private ward for the patient. This time, Kong Xiaobo was really anxious. You don't have any, do you? How come you don't have it when we go there, but when the people from the hospital bring their friends there, you have it? It's just a high-class ward to take care of the people inside, the director of the inpatient department explained faintly. It seemed that he did not want to talk nonsense with Kong Xiaobo. Is there a first-come first-served rule? It's not like we don't want to spend money. Why don't you give it to us? Does that mean the insiders get priority? Xiaobo was getting more and more indignant. Don't make a fuss here if you don't have what it takes. My husband's classmate is the chief physician here. You don't have any connections, and you still want a private ward? Go to hell. A woman with heavy makeup next to the doctor's buddy looked at Kong Xiaobo with disdain. Look at your stupid face. Stop embarrassing yourself. You. Kong Xiaobo was anxious. Who are you calling stupid? What's wrong with that? I can tell that you're a country bumpkin with some money. Look at your mom's clothes. She looks like a country bumpkin coming to the city. The man was a bit annoyed when he saw Kong Xiaobo yelling at his woman. He glared at Kong Xiaobo and Huiping. He thought that Huiping was Kong Xiaobo's mother. The man spat in disdain. Coincidentally, it landed on Kong Xiaobo's shoes. The man didn't expect his spit to land so accurately. He was slightly stunned. You, clean it for me. Kong Xiaobo had been hanging out with Lin Yi for the past few days. He was full of manliness. Come on, kid. Stop it. The man pulled out 100 kuai from his bag and shoved it into Xiaobo's hand. Go find a place to clean your shoes. I'm telling you, money isn't the only thing you can do these days. You need connections too. You need to learn more. With that, the man pulled the woman away quickly, afraid that Xiaobo would keep looking for trouble. He then followed his doctor buddy to the hospital to handle the paperwork. The man was Zhao Guangdong. He was here to find a private ward for his boss. Speaking of which, his boss didn't have any major problems. It was just that his blood pressure was a bit high these few days. He came to the hospital for an intravenous drip. In fact, he didn't need a private ward at all. However, to show that he had connections, Zhao Guangdong found his buddy, who was a chief physician here, to help him get a private ward. Kong Xiaobo looked at Zhao Guangdong's back. He threw the 100 yuan in his hand on the ground and clenched his fists. His eyes were bloodshot. He was so angry that he panted heavily. Heh! Lin Yi walked over and picked up the 100 yuan from the ground. He stuffed it into Kong Xiaobo's hand. You still have to take the money. Don't go against money. Boss, I want to beat him up. Kong Xiaobo knew that Lin Yi meant well. Now that Xiaofan was in the hospital, it was good to get as much money as possible. However, he couldn't bring himself to do it before. Now that Lin Yi handed him the money, Kong Xiaobo took it. Xiaobo, we don't want the private ward anymore. Don't get into a fight with him. That room is not bad. Song Huiping was afraid that Kong Xiaobo would cause trouble. Tang Yun glanced at Lin Yi. She wanted him to persuade Kong Xiaobo. Tang Yun understood Kong Xiaobo's feelings. She saw the scene just now. She knew the fickleness of human nature. She went to the factory to ask for her father's medical fees. It was also very difficult. In the end, she was kicked out. If they had connections, they could get the medical fees with just a word. The injury wasn't serious at all. It was far worse than her father's injury. Sometimes, beating people up isn't the only way to solve a problem. Lin Yi patted Kong Xiaobo's shoulder. You have to use different methods to deal with different people. Wait for me. They will move out the same way they moved in. Lin Yi finished speaking and walked to the director's office. The director had already returned when Kong Xiaobo and Zhao Guangdong were arguing. He was about to ask Lin Yi what he wanted when he saw Kong Xiaobo and the others behind him. The director's face darkened immediately. Didn't I tell you that there are no more private rooms? Why are you still here? Are you sure that there is only one vacant VIP room? You gave it to those people just now? Lin Yi ignored the director's words and asked directly. Yes. You can leave now. The director waved his hand impatiently. Then ask them to give it out, Lin Yi said indifferently. Ha! The director heard Lin Yi's words and couldn't help but laugh. Who do you think you are? You think you can give it out just because you say so? Are you the director? I still have things to do. If you are here to cause trouble, then I will call the security. Chapter 218. Dumbfounded. The director pursed his lips. Looking for someone? Who are you looking for? If you could find someone, why would you come to me directly? Just find someone from the hospital and bring them over. Wouldn't the room be yours? Now that only one room had been given away, it wouldn't be easy to find someone else. Even if you found someone from the hospital and heard that the room was given to someone from the hospital, they wouldn't force it. Wouldn't that be offending someone? Hello? Professor Guan? I'm Lin Yi. Naturally, The person Lin Yi was looking for was Guan Xuemin. Guan Xuemin was the director of Songshan Medical University, and Songshan First People's Hospital was an affiliated hospital of the university. Whether it was in terms of personnel or position, they had to listen to the school's arrangements. This was what Lin Yi had learned from his conversation with Guan Xuemin the other day. Who was Guan Xuemin? He was the director of the TCM school, and the hospital's TCM department was under his control. Even if the inpatient department wasn't under his control, he only needed to call the director of the hospital and ask for a room. "Oh, Mr. Lin. What brings you to this old man again?" Guan Xuemin was delighted to hear Lin Yi's voice. Lin Yi had called yesterday, and now he was calling again today. Guan Xuemin had wanted to get closer to Lin Yi. "It's like this, Professor Guan. I'm at Songshan First People's Hospital. My friend is hospitalized here, and I want to spend money to get a VIP room. We came first, but the inpatient department director gave the room to someone he knew." Lin Yi didn't add fuel to the fire, only telling the truth about his current situation. "Haha, I understand. I'll call old Qin, the director of the hospital. I'll get back to you in a bit," Guan Xuemin said with a smile. If it had been someone else looking for Guan Xuemin wouldn't have helped. Lin Yi had already made it clear that the inpatient department director had given the room to someone he knew. This was an unspoken rule, and Guan Xuemin wouldn't cause trouble for someone else over such a small matter. That would make him, a dignified director of the School of Chinese Medicine, look petty. Of course, this wasn't the crux of the problem. The crux of the problem was that although the hospital was an affiliated hospital of the school, it was jointly established with a company. His son was one of the shareholders of the hospital. Therefore, it was even more inappropriate for Guan Xuemin to interfere with the hospital's affairs. One phone call from him could cause a huge uproar. However, things were different now that it was Lin Yi who had brought the matter to him. He was a good friend and teacher to Lin Yi, so Guan Xuemin was naturally very concerned about his matters. After hanging up Lin Yi's call, he called Lao Qin, the director of the hospital. The inpatient department's director was sneering as he watched Lin Yi make the call. However, when he heard Lin Yi mention the words, "Professor Guan," he was slightly stunned. Just as he was wondering who this Professor Guan was, he suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. Who else could be Professor Guan who was related to the hospital? Isn't that Guan Xuemin, the dean of the School of Chinese Medicine? Thinking of this, the inpatient department's expression suddenly froze. Who was Guan Xuemin? Even the dean of the hospital respected him. Moreover, Guan Xuemin's son was a shareholder of the hospital. Wasn't it a piece of cake for him to punish a small inpatient department's director? The crux of the problem was that he was wrongly accused. The reason why he didn't reserve a ward for Kong Xiaobo was that the doctor had called him in advance and asked him to reserve a ward for him. It was just that Kong Xiaobo came before the doctor came. If it was really first come, first served, then it was the doctor who had called first. However, it was also his fault that he didn't explain it clearly to Kong Xiaobo. If he had explained it properly, things wouldn't have turned out this way, right? Thinking of this, the inpatient department's director hurriedly stood up and explained a little awkwardly. "Young man, there's no need to trouble Director Guan. Actually, I have to explain this matter. The doctor who came to ask for a ward wasn't first come, first served. He had already called me in advance, so I reserved the ward for him and told the young man that there was no ward available." "Do you think that I will believe what you said now?" Lin Yi didn't care whether what he said was true or not, and he wasn't in the mood to listen to his explanation. Even if what he said was true, then what had he been doing before? The inpatient department's director was suddenly speechless. He blushed and wanted to say something, but the phone on the table rang shrilly. The inpatient department's director was shocked. He hurriedly ran over and humbly picked up the phone. He had already guessed who was calling. As expected, after seeing the caller ID, the inpatient department's director became even more humble. "Director Qin. Are you looking for me?" However, before the inpatient department's director could finish his words, a roar came from the other end of the phone. The inpatient department's director hurriedly said, "Yes." Before he could explain, the other end of the phone had already hung up. The inpatient department's director put down the phone gloomily. When he turned around to face Lin Yi, his face was filled with a brighter smile than before. "Young man, I'm so sorry. I'll ask them to give up the ward right now." The inpatient department's director had already made a decision. It was fine if he offended the doctor, but if he offended Guan Shuamin and Director Qin, he wouldn't be able to stay in this hospital any longer. He regretted looking down on Guan Shuamin, but there was nothing he could do. Standing beside Lin Yi, Kong Xiaobo felt more and more refreshed. His anger just now was released in an instant. He sneered at the inpatient department's director, who had a flattering smile on his face. Seeing Kong Xiaobo's smile, the inpatient department's director felt both embarrassed and indignant. You're acting like a pig to eat a tiger, aren't you? Do you have fun acting like a pig? Your friend knows Guan Shuamin, and you're still begging me for a VIP ward? Isn't that something that can be settled with a phone call? But thinking was just thinking. He still put on a flattering smile. Please come with me, I'll go arrange the rooms right now. Tang Yin looked at Lin Yi deeply. This man seemed to be able to solve all kinds of problems no matter where he went. Sometimes he used violence, sometimes he used connections. Tang Yin shook her head and massaged her temples, trying to calm herself down. She didn't want to think about Lin Yi anymore. After leaving the inpatient department's room, Lin Yi was surprised to see Guan Xian looking around. Lin Yi was a little surprised as he waved at her. Guan Xian, over here. Chapter 219. How to enter and how to leave. The dean was part of the higher management of the hospital. Of course he knew who Guan Xian was. Ordinary junior doctors might not know, but the director of the inpatient department knew. Guan Shuamin's granddaughter, the daughter of a shareholder of the hospital. Who would dare disrespect her? The dean was still trying to guess how close Lin Yi and Guan Shuamin were because of the severity of the situation. If Lin Yi and Guan Shuamin only knew each other and weren't that familiar with each other, then he'd just let it go. If they were close, then it'd be hard to avoid leaving a bad impression on Dean Qin and Guan Shuamin. But now that Guan Shuamin's granddaughter knew Lin Yi, didn't that mean that Lin Yi was close to Guan Shuamin's family? Guan Xian was done with her work, and for some reason, she wandered over to the hospital. She just wanted to see if she could bump into Lin Yi again. She didn't have a specific goal in mind, since she didn't ask which room Lin Yi was in. Guan Xian smiled sweetly when she heard Lin Yi calling her name. Lin Yi, I'm just here to see if there's anything I can do to help. Oh, not at the moment, it's been taken care of. Lin Yi looked at the dean. Guan Xian didn't know what to say after hearing Lin Yi's words. She looked at the beautiful Tang Yun beside Lin Yi and felt a little discouraged. Is this your girlfriend? No. I have nothing to do with him. Tang Yun jumped out before Lin Yi could say anything. She waved her hands as if someone had stepped on her tail. Oh! Guan Xian sighed in relief before turning to Lin Yi. Give me your phone number. I haven't thanked you for what you did last time. I'll treat you to dinner during my break. Lin Yi didn't mind, and gave her a number. Guan Xian saved it and called him back, showing her number on Lin Yi's phone as well. However, Tang Yun frowned. Did Lin Yi help her? Suddenly, she felt a little regretful. Why was she so eager to explain her relationship with Lin Yi? The guy seemed to have a lot of luck with women, hooking up with a pretty nurse. Tang Yun was a bit disappointed and quickened her steps. Guan Xian was older and more mature than Tang Yun. She couldn't help but smile at Tang Yun's reaction. She turned to Lin Yi. Your friend seems to be jealous. I'll be leaving first. Call me when you have time. Heh. Lin Yi smiled. All right, let's keep in touch by phone. Guan Xian was only here to see Lin Yi. She didn't know what to say or do when she saw Lin Yi. Guan Xian sighed as she watched Lin Yi and Tang Yun leave, but she didn't know what she was sighing about. In a high-class ward, Guangdong was peeling oranges for the boss. Mr. Zhou, this room is good, right? It's no different from a 5-star hotel, right? And not bad. Guangdong, I didn't expect you to have connections in the hospital. I've underestimated you. Mr. Zhou said. Looks like I'll have to promote you in the future. Hee hee, it's nothing. I'm just a person with a good social network. I have friends everywhere I go. People always give me face. Guangdong laughed. Yeah, Mr. Zhou. Our Guangdong has a lot of friends. The woman with heavy makeup chimed in. Just now, there was a little idiot who went to ask for a VIP room, but the director of the inpatient department didn't even bother with him. Our Guangdong brought a friend over, and the room was delivered. Who are you calling an idiot? The door opened abruptly, and Xiaobo barged in, a little pissed off as he pointed at the woman with heavy makeup. Ha! So what if I called you an idiot? You even found your way here? What, you're not happy? Should I get security to kick you out? I'll count to 3. Get the hell out of here. The woman with heavy makeup was about to press the call button on the bed. Hey, you're right. The idiot is the one leaving. You can leave now. Lin Yi followed Kong Xiaobo into the ward. Idiots. Should I get security to kick you out? What's going on? Guangdong. Who are these people? Mr. Zhou frowned as he looked at the people entering the ward. Mr. Zhou, I'll get security right now. Guangdong was obviously a coward who liked to act big. He didn't dare make a move, but he didn't want to lose face either. No need for that. Now, this ward is theirs. The director of the inpatient department sighed. These people weren't easy to deal with. As soon as they entered the ward, they offended everyone in the ward. There was no room for negotiation. The director of the inpatient department wanted to explain his difficulties to Guangdong and ask them to move out. But now, he didn't need to explain anymore. His explanation was unnecessary. He had to stand firmly on Lin Yi's side. Did you hear that? Kong Xiaobo suddenly became arrogant. He pointed at Guangdong and said, "Move out the way you moved in." Kong Xiaobo's words were said by Lin Yi, but Kong Xiaobo didn't care. As a follower, he could naturally use the words of his boss. Besides, he felt that this sentence was awesome. It was quite imposing. Zhao Guangdong's face changed immediately. He didn't care what Kong Xiaobo said, but he had to listen to the director. This was a hospital, someone else's turf. He wasn't powerful enough to argue with the director. He put on a smile and asked confusedly, "Director Ma, didn't we agree on this?" They were here first. First come, first serve. Director Ma was getting impatient. He was afraid that Lin Yi would be upset. He waved his hand at Guangdong. "All right, you guys clean up and move to a normal double room. It's just in 4 drip. I've already arranged it." But, Director Ma, for Dr. Liao's sake. Besides, our Mr. Zhou is here. Guangdong was in a difficult position. He didn't know why the director suddenly changed his mind, but he just bragged to his boss. If they changed rooms, Mr. Zhou wouldn't be happy. As expected, Mr. Zhou spoke before Guangdong could. "Director Ma, right? I'm Zhou Tiandi from the Tiandi Group. I'm friends with Director Sun from the Health Bureau." Songshan First Hospital was a city-owned hospital. It wasn't under the jurisdiction of the Health Bureau, but they were all in the same system. Under normal circumstances, the people in the hospital would give face. No one wanted to offend someone from the Health Bureau. After all, the director of the Health Bureau must have connections in the city's Health Bureau. It wasn't worth it to offend someone like that. Chapter 220. Give you a plane ticket. Tiandi's face darkened when the dean didn't say anything. What? Dean Ma doesn't want to give me face anymore. There aren't many people in Songshan who can say no to me. Mr. Zhou. The dean didn't know who Tiandi was, but he'd heard of the name before. He was one of the most famous people in Songshan, starting out in the black and white world. A few years ago, he'd opened a large KTV, and had quite a few connections. Enough with the useless stuff. I'm not leaving today. Let's see who can make me leave. Tiandi, naturally, wouldn't leave the room just like that. This wasn't just a simple hospital room anymore. It was a matter of his face in Songshan. If Tiandi obediently left the room today, he'd be the laughingstock of everyone tomorrow. Besides, he felt that he was in the right. Guangdong had already paid the fee, and he had a ticket. Why would he be kicked out? "You're not leaving? I'll give you a plane ticket." Lin Yi didn't have the time to waste with this guy. Fun was waiting for him. With that, Lin Yi walked over and grabbed Tiandi by the collar, tossing him out along with the 4 bottle beside him. Tiandi was sent flying out of the room, landing on the bench in front of the door with a thud. The 4 bottle miraculously ended up hanging on the clothes hanging behind the bench. Lin Yi was already giving Tiandi a lot of face, telling him to leave after getting his 4 drip. Otherwise, he'd have made him crawl under the bench. Tiandi was a bit disdainful of Lin Yi trying to make a move on him. He was planning on scaring him. Who was he? He was Tiandi, a celebrity in Songshan. Was this guy trying to get physical with him? Was he looking to die? But before he could say anything, he felt his body floating in the air. The next moment, he was sitting on the bench in the hallway of the hospital. The dean didn't expect Lin Yi to be so violent, tossing him out without even listening to what Qiandi had to say. He smiled bitterly, but at least it saved him the trouble of explaining. Zhao Guangdong was also a little dumbfounded. What kind of person was this? He had never seen someone like this. One wrong word and he would lose face. However, Zhao Guangdong didn't dare to say anything to Lin Yi. He was a typical bully. When he saw his boss flying out, he hurriedly ran out of the ward to see if his boss was all right. Mr. Zhou, are you all right? Guangdong ran into the hallway and asked the pale-faced Qiandi. Qiandi was fine, but he was scared out of his wits. Who would feel good after flying through the air? Especially at such an old age. His heart almost fell out of fear. Today I, Zhou Qiandi, will make my words clear. Wait in this room if you have the balls. Otherwise get the hell out of here in an hour. Qiandi let out a sigh of relief as he pointed at the room. If you're still here, I'll make sure you stay in this room for half a year. Bam! Lin Yi slammed the door shut, not listening to what Qiandi had to say. You! Qiandi almost died from anger. He clutched his chest. Fine if you have the balls. Just you wait. Guangdong, call Ruoguang and tell him to bring people here. Yes, Mr. Zhou. Guangdong had wanted to make the call a long time ago, but Mr. Zhou hadn't said anything, so he didn't dare make the call himself. All he had to do now was call the boss' eldest son, Zhou Ruoguang, and the people in this room would be done for. Tang Yun wasn't a fan of violence, but she couldn't help but cover her mouth and laugh. Lin Yi was always this reckless, just like when he smashed Zhang Bianbiao's barbecue stand. Just as Lin Yi had said, you had to use different methods to deal with different people. Some people wouldn't listen if you tried to reason with them, so you had to use violence to stop violence. Brother, that's Zhou Qiandi. He has some connections in the underworld. You've offended him. Director Ma knew that Lin Yi had a close relationship with Guan Shuamin, so he had to remind him. Should I call some security? Thank you, Director Ma, but it's fine. I think it's better to get some surgeons, Lin Yi said. Ah! Director Ma paused, not understanding what Lin Yi meant. He thought about it carefully. Was Lin Yi saying that there would be people injured in this room when Zhou Qiandi called people over, and they would need surgeons? But why would he do that? Wait to get beaten up? Director Ma didn't understand, but since Lin Yi said so, he could only agree and act according to the situation. Xiaobo, bring Xiaofan here with Aunt Song and Director Ma. Tang Yun and I will wait in the room. Lin Yi said. That Zhou Qiandi probably won't let this go easily. If we don't solve this problem today, it'll happen sooner or later. Why don't we settle it today? Lin Yi was never someone who was afraid of trouble. What happened today was nothing in his eyes. Kong Xiaobo knew what Lin Yi was capable of, so he wasn't worried. He had an inexplicable confidence in Lin Yi. No matter what Lin Yi did, he believed that his boss was #1 in the world. Song Huiping didn't know what to do. She knew from Kong Xiaobo that Lin Yi was a domineering young master. She couldn't interfere no matter what Lin Yi did. She could only stand on the side, panicking. Normally, she wouldn't dare to mess with a big boss like Zhou Qiandi, but she didn't dare to stop Lin Yi from messing with him. At this moment, she could only follow Kong Xiaobo and walk back to the original room. Only Tang Yun and Lin Yi were left in the room. Lin Yi asked her to stay here, and Tang Yun didn't reject him. But her expression was a bit unnatural. Actually, you don't have to change rooms. It's not worth it to offend someone for a room. Offend? Lin Yi smiled faintly. I don't care about the guy at the door. If he thinks that I offended him, then so be it. But he better not do anything else, or he'll really offend me. Tang Yun heard Lin Yi's words and couldn't help but laugh. Why are you always bragging? Even if you're a young master, that person is a big boss. Ha! Lin Yi smiled. When you have absolute confidence that you can take someone's life, you won't care about them, no matter what their job or identity is. He started doing solo missions at the age of 10. Whether it was a rich boss or a big boss of the underworld, Lin Yi only had targets in his eyes. You only know how to smile like an idiot. Tang Yun turned around angrily when Lin Yi didn't reply. Chapter 221. The Consequence of Dirty Hands. I don't believe you. Tang Yun curled her lips. Aren't you helping your brother chase girls? Both, I guess. Lin Yi didn't deny it. Tang Yin humphed and didn't say anything. Her relationship with Lin Yi was getting more and more complicated, and couldn't be severed. Just thinking about it gave her a headache, and the best thing to do was to not think about it. It didn't take long before Fun was sent to the room by Director Ma. Lin Yi smiled inwardly. This Director Ma must have thought that he had a close relationship with Xu Amin. After settling Fun down, Director Ma left, and the room returned to silence. Zhou Tiandi, Guangdong, and the others who were at the door had already left as well. Boss, what's with that Zhou? He left just like that? Didn't he tell us to wait? Kong Xiaobo was curious about Zhou Tiandi's departure. He went to find someone, right? Lin Yi naturally didn't think that Zhou Tiandi would let it go just like that. Maybe someone will come looking for trouble, and he's afraid of alerting the police, so he left first. Kong Xiaobo nodded, but before he could say anything, a commotion came from the hallway. The door was kicked open with a bang, and a yellow-haired man rushed in with 4 to 5 thugs. All the men in the room, come out. The yellow-haired man was just about to call all the men out when his eyes landed on Tang Yun. He didn't think that there would be such a beautiful woman in the room. The yellow-haired man was a pervert, and he was here to teach them a lesson. But after seeing Tang Yun, he changed his mind. He gave his lackey a look. As the leader, he couldn't say what he thought aloud. That would make him seem like a bad person. The lackey was the yellow-haired man's confidant, and he knew what the yellow-haired man wanted. He pointed at Tang Yun. You come out too. Tang Yun paused for a second and realized that the yellow-haired man had taken a liking to her and wanted to do something to her. She looked at Lin Yi in panic, only to see him standing there leisurely as if nothing had happened. Tang Yin calmed down as she felt annoyed. With Lin Yi there, she wouldn't be at a disadvantage, would she? Although she was a little conflicted that Lin Yi treated her so well, she hoped that Lin Yi would protect her in this situation. Tang Yun didn't know what she was thinking, but it was weird. The blonde nodded silently at his underling's actions. Since his underling had made it clear, he didn't need to hold back anymore. He reached out to hug Tang Yun, wanting to drag her out of the room. Tang Yun jumped in fright and tried to dodge, but she bumped into someone. She glanced sideways and saw that it was Lin Yi. She was about to ask what he was doing when Lin Yi grabbed the blondie's outstretched hand. Your hand is dirty, Lin Yi smiled faintly and looked at the blondie. I haven't hugged her yet and you want to? Tang Yun's face reddened at Lin Yi's shameless words. She glared at him. What do you mean you haven't hugged her yet? Kid, since you haven't hugged her, then she has nothing to do with you. Are you trying to stand up for her? The blondie's face turned cold as he tried to pull his hand away, but he didn't. I don't have a pattern to my moves, so it's not about standing up for her. I just think that your hand is too dirty. With that, Lin Yi exerted strength, and with a crack, the yellow-haired man let out a heart-wrenching howl. Ouch! My hand! My hand! The blondie felt a piercing pain in his hand. He almost cried. I just gave you a small warning, and you're like this? Why are you so soft? Let me ask you, were you sent by that Zhou Tiandi? Lin Yi didn't think that the blondie would start crying after his hand was dislocated. Ouch! My hand! The blondie didn't answer Lin Yi's question. He was still wailing. Lin Yi didn't know what else to do. He helplessly exerted more force, and another crack sounded. All right, stop screaming, it's connected. Answer me now. The 4 lackeys that the blondie brought with him were dumbfounded. Who was this guy? Was he doing acrobatics? He dislocated the blondie's hand and then connected it again? They wanted to go up, but they hesitated. After all, the blondie didn't say anything, and they had to worry about his safety. Go together, kill this kid. The blondie's hand was connected, and the pain was alleviated a bit. Crack. Another crack sounded, and Lin Yi dislocated the blondie's hand again. Ouch! The blondie cried out in pain, but this time Lin Yi used more force than before. Not only was his hand dislocated, but it was also bent at an unbelievable angle. The blondie shouted twice before his eyes rolled back into his head, and he fainted on the ground. I shouldn't have connected it for you, you're too despicable. Lin Yi didn't bother asking him anymore. He turned to the lackeys who were walking over, hesitating. You guys, is there anyone with despicable hands? The 4 of them looked at the blondie's deformed palm. What kind of psycho was this? How could he be so cruel? No. The lackeys didn't want to end up like the blondie, and they shook their heads subconsciously. Oh, then it's you. Lin Yi pointed at the lackey who asked Tang Yun to go out with him. Tell me, did Mr. Zhou send you guys? Aye. The lackey was the blondie's confidant. He couldn't betray the blondie. Looking at the blondie on the ground, the lackey's heart was filled with hatred. He pulled out a dagger and charged at Lin Yi. I'll kill you. But, just as he was about to get close to Lin Yi, the lackey suddenly changed directions and stabbed the dagger at Tang Yun. Tang Yun jumped and screamed. She wanted to dodge, but it was too late. Just as the dagger was about to reach Tang Yun, her body mysteriously tilted and fell towards the blondie, and the dagger stabbed into the blondie's bent hand. The yellow-haired man had already fainted from the pain, but when he was stabbed by his subordinate, he woke up with a cry of pain. Seeing his trusted subordinate stabbing him with a dagger, the yellow-haired man immediately exploded in anger. His subordinate actually betrayed him. What the fuck do you want to do? The blondie didn't know where he got his courage from, but he used his left hand to pull out the injured dagger and pointed it at his confidant. You're stabbing me in the back? Chapter 222. He's really scared. After listening to his confidant's explanation, the yellow-haired man believed his words. This confidant had been with him for many years. It was possible for the others to betray him, but this confidant definitely wouldn't. The blonde's face turned ugly. No matter how stupid he was, he knew that the man in front of him was a legendary master. The blonde wasn't a master, but he'd heard of the legendary Sky, Earth, Mystic, and Huang masters in the underworld. They were people who could jump on roofs and vault over walls, and seal acupuncture points from afar. He didn't know if Lin Yi was one of those masters, but judging from Lin Yi's nimble bone setting and bone-removing skills, he was definitely not a simple person. Listening to his confidant's words, it was more or less the same as the legendary acupuncture point sealing. Although he didn't think that Lin Yi was that strong, he knew that he wasn't Lin Yi's opponent with his current skills. Even if this kid wasn't a golden class master, he was at least half a golden class. The blonde wanted to retreat at the thought of that. Wow, your right hand is so scary. Why don't you use your left hand this time? Since you're awake, then continue answering my questions. Lin Yi said as he squatted down and pulled the blonde's left hand, ready to continue the bone removal. Don't. Big bro, I'll tell you what you want to know. The blonde was really scared as he looked at Lin Yi and begged. Oh, then let me ask you, were you sent by that Zhou something? Lin Yi asked. Yes. The blonde's answer was simple. All right, go back and tell that Zhou something that I'll go find him. Lin Yi said. Okay, big bro, I'll tell him. The blonde quickly said. Crack. Another crisp sound. Lin Yi let go of the blonde's left hand, but it was already dislocated. Ouch. Big brother, I've already said it. Why are you still? Huang Mao jumped up from the ground in pain and looked at Lin Yi with some resentment. I look too kind. I'm afraid that you won't know that I'm a ruthless person and will come to the hospital next time. Lin Yi looked at the yellow-haired man with a smile without any sympathy. Blondie was about to cry. Big brother, I know you are a ruthless person. Don't worry, I won't come again. How could the blondie not understand what Lin Yi meant? Lin Yi had warned him not to cause trouble in the hospital in the future, but did he still dare to come? Although the yellow-haired man was in the underworld, he wasn't a fool. The yellow-haired man was obviously stronger than him. If he went to the door to be beaten, wouldn't that be stupid? All right then, you can go. I won't send you off. Lin Yi waved his hand, indicating that the yellow-haired man could get lost. Chief Ma had arrived a long time ago. He stood at the door and didn't dare to come in. He heard a nurse say that there was a fight in this ward, so he hurriedly ran over to see what was going on. But with one look, he finally understood why Lin Yi asked him to find a few surgeons. These guys who came out really had to go see a surgeon. Lin Yi was very good at reading people. He saw real fear in the eyes of the yellow-haired man, and not the kind of fake submission that was fake. If some people submitted, then they really submitted. But some people only submitted on the surface, but in their hearts, they thought that a gentleman's revenge was never too late. If this yellow-haired man didn't really submit, but wanted to take revenge afterwards, then Lin Yi didn't mind making him disappear from the face of the earth. Lin Yi was famous for being protective of his subordinates when he was in the team. If anyone wanted to touch someone in the team, then he would touch their whole family first. After returning to the bustling city, he didn't have any teammates, but he had a lot of friends by his side. These friends were the same as his former teammates, and they were also Lin Yi's reverse scale. Tang Yun was so scared that she covered her mouth. Even a tough girl like Lu Xinwen couldn't help but widen her eyes in shock. Song Huiping even covered Xiaofan's eyes. Because Lin Yi was simply too cruel. Although he was dealing with a group of evil people, such means still made people shudder. Only Kong Xiaobo's eyes were filled with excitement. He had already fought with Lin Yi on the rooftop, and most men only had impulsive hot-bloodedness when it came to fighting. They didn't have fear or terror. This kind of people only needs to be taught a deep lesson. If it wasn't like this, they would still come looking for trouble. Lin Yi saw everyone's expression and shrugged his shoulders in embarrassment. Boss, you're so cool. Can you teach me that move just now? Gotcha. That person's hand would be crippled. Kong Xiaobo was a little envious. I can teach you, but who should I use as a demonstration? Lin Yi smiled as he looked at Kong Xiaobo. Forget it then. Kong Xiaobo weakly retracted his hand and shook his head. The originally tense atmosphere in the ward was instantly relaxed by Lin Yi and Kong Xiaobo's humorous conversation. Even Song Huiping laughed along. Xiaofan might have seen a lot of life-and-death situations, but she wasn't afraid of what happened before. She also laughed when she heard Kong Xiaobo's words. In the afternoon, Mrs. Tang was going to the food street to open a stall, and Tang Yun naturally had to help her mother. Xiaofan was fine, so Tang Yun prepared to leave. After Tang Yun left, Lin Yi didn't have any reason to stay, so he left with Tang Yun. Leaving Kong Xiaobo and Lu Xinwen here to take care of Xiaofan, Kong Xiaobo had already confirmed his feelings. The 18-year-old Kong Xiaobo was impulsive and passionate. Although Xiaofan had all kinds of flaws, the stubborn Kong Xiaobo had already ignored them. Although Lin Yi was a little more rational than Kong Xiaobo, he wasn't that much rational. Lin Yi enjoyed the beautiful school life, but the days of living on the edge of a knife were getting further and further away from Lin Yi. Lin Yi smiled as he looked at Tang Yun, who was sitting in the front passenger seat with her head down. Tang Yun was still acting like a punching bag, as if he was bullying her every single day. The car drove into the shantytown, and Lin Yi parked the car at the place yesterday. The shantytown had returned to its usual noisy and leisurely state. The elderly were chatting with their neighbors in front of their houses, and the kids were running around. When they saw Lin Yi's car, they all curiously gathered around to see what was going on. The trauma of Xiaofan jumping off the building yesterday had disappeared, and the 3 sections building had returned to its usual peace. Send you back. Lin Yi frowned as he saw Li Erlin walking over leisurely. Tang Yun hesitated for a moment, but still nodded. Compared to Li Erlin and Zhou Ruoming, who were unreasonable people, she would rather deal with Lin Yi. Chapter 223. House Zhou and Tang Yun. Li Erlin clearly saw Lin Yi and Tang Yun as well. He paused, but didn't stop. He walked past Lin Yi and Tang Yun without saying a word. He had more important things to do today. Master Bing had come to Songshan, and he needed to gather his brothers to join Master Bing's side. As for Tang Yun and Lin Yi, he didn't want to dwell on it right now. He hated Lin Yi to the core, but Erlin firmly believed that as long as he had Master Bing's support, dealing with Lin Yi would be a piece of cake. Tang Yun would become his plaything sooner or later. He looked back at Lin Yi with hatred and quickened his footsteps. He knew why Master Bing wanted to recruit him at a time like this. He was hesitant before, since he was a member of the slums and grew up there. It didn't make sense for him to help Master Bing deal with the slums. Lin Yi's appearance, however, strengthened Erlin's confidence. Lin Yi naturally didn't know what Erlin was thinking. He was confused when he saw Erlin walking past without saying a word. He's not harassing you anymore? Tang Yun shook her head, confused. She wasn't answering Lin Yi's question, but she didn't know what was up with Erlin today. Lin Yi didn't go in after sending Tang Yun to her house. I'm leaving? Yeah. Tang Yun was a little annoyed. Why did he have to talk to her? Did he want her to invite him to my house? Wasn't he just asking her to say that? It'd be rude if she didn't invite him. Tang Yun sighed helplessly. Do you want to come in for a bit? No need. I'll go back straight away. Lin Yi smiled. Oh. Tang Yun was even more annoyed. She'd already lowered herself to invite him, and he still wouldn't come in? She turned around, ignoring Lin Yi as she ran back to her house. It was Monday, and Pin Liang couldn't wait to ask Zhou Ruoming out as soon as he got to school. Liangzi, what's the matter? Ruoming wasn't in a good mood, Yesterday's events pissed him off. It affected his entire plan. His original plan was to kidnap Tang Yun and force himself on her, just as Pinliang had said. Originally, he had already talked to his elder brother, Zhou Ruoguang, and asked him to bring people to help. However, when he returned home last night, he tragically found that his elder brother had been beaten up. Both of his hands were crippled, and it would take a long time for him to recover. He had no choice but to postpone his plan. The situation was like this. Zhou Ruoming came home to see his father, Zhou Tiandi, sitting there with a pissed-off look on his face. "Dad, what's wrong with you?" Zhou Ruoming wondered why his father had such an expression as if he had been robbed of his money. Tiandi wasn't robbed of his money, he was robbed of his hospital room. In Songshan, although he wasn't the kind of person who could shake the world with a stomp of his foot, he still had some face. He had a lot of connections, but his hospital room was robbed by a bunch of random country bumpkins. If word got out, wouldn't he become a laughingstock? How was he going to survive in Songshan's upper-class society? And so, Tiandi told Guangdong to call his eldest son, the head of the North District's gangsters, Zhou Ruoguang. He told him to bring some men to the hospital and get back at them. If he didn't teach those country bumpkins a good lesson, he wouldn't be able to take this lying down. However, just as he was waiting for his son's good news at home, he received bad news. His son was injured by someone in the hospital room, and although he didn't know the details, his son was already on his way home. Zhou Ruoguang had suffered a huge loss. Ever since Tiandi opened a karaoke bar, he hadn't suffered a loss like this in a long time. Especially after he helped his eldest son, Zhou Ruoguang, become the head of the North District, Tiandi became even more successful in the underworld. "Don't ask so many questions. Go back to your room and do your homework. We, the Zhous, are counting on a genius like you to help us manage the company." Tiandi glared at Ruoming as he reprimanded him. What? Tiandi had high hopes for his youngest son, Zhou Ruoming. Both he and Zhou Ruoguang were rough people, and both of them had been in the underworld for a long time. They didn't have the time to learn anything, but both of them hoped that Zhou Ruoming would be successful. The bigger Tiandi's karaoke bar got, the more he realized the importance of managing people. He could hire people with money, but it was never as easy as hiring his own family. He hoped that Zhou Ruoming would study hard, study business management, and come back to help him expand his business. Zhou Ruoming, on the other hand, was acting like a good boy at home, listening to everything Tiandi said. But Tiandi didn't know that his eldest son spoiled his little brother so much that not only did he help him do bad things, but he also hid it from Tiandi. "Oh." Zhou Ruoming answered obediently and went back to his room. He didn't read after closing the door, but put his ear to the door, waiting for his brother to come back and listen to what they had to say. It wasn't long before Zhou Ruoguang came back. Through the gap in the door, Zhou Ruoming was shocked to see that his brother's hands were wrapped in bandages. "Ruoguang, you." Tiandi had been in the underworld for a long time, and didn't really care about fights and injuries, but ever since Zhou Ruoguang took control of the North District and became the leader of the North District, things like this almost never happened again. "Dad, that guy's a master, I can't beat him." Zhou Ruoguang was scared of Lin Yi to the bone, so he didn't hide it. "None of my men are a match for him. I'm guessing that even if he's not golden class yet, he's close. He might even know how to use pressure points." "What? That strong? That's impossible, right? Those two brats can't be more than 20 years old. How could they be masters?" Tiandi paused, not believing it. "Dad, to be honest, I don't believe it either, but he is indeed very powerful. Let's forget about this matter. We don't have any deep hatred with him." Zhou Ruoguang was a little scared as he said this. "Fuck you, useless thing." Tiandi humphed coldly. "Why are you so cowardly? You're not even as brave as that useless brother of yours, messing with girls in middle school. Look at you. I made the wrong decision back then. I should have let you study and let Ruoming join the underworld." Zhou Ruoguang lowered his head, not daring to look at his father. Chapter 224. Strange behavior, Dad. Let Uncle Yen do it then. I don't have the guts to go. Zhou Ruoguang said softly, truly afraid of Lin Yi. Tiandi was right. He wasn't as brave as Zhou Ruoming. "You piece of trash. My relationship with old Yen is nothing more than a benefit. I've helped him before, and he's doing things for me. Every time he does something for me, it's one less favor I owe him. You're making a mountain out of a molehill, aren't you? Tiandi was a little disappointed at his son's cowardice. If it's a small matter, then let's just forget about it. Zhou Ruoguang said weakly. All right, it's none of your business. Scram. Tiandi waved his hand angrily. This son of his didn't have any of his aggressiveness back in the day. He was a coward. Zhou Ruoguang turned back to his room as if he'd been pardoned, leaving the furious Tiandi behind. Zhou Ruoming heard the conversation outside the room. He saw the injury on his brother's hand, and was quite troubled. It seemed like he'd have to postpone his plan. How was his brother supposed to help him catch the person in this state? Zhou Ruoming wouldn't feel at ease if his brother didn't do it himself, and so he was still depressed all the way to school on Monday morning. Pin Liang called him out, reminding him of the plan. Ming bro, how's the plan I told you about? Pin Liang took out a pack of cigarettes and handed one to Zhou Ruoming. Don't mention it. Zhou Ruoming waved his hand, troubled. Something happened to my brother, and he can't help me with this. I'm really troubled right now. I guess I'll have to postpone it. Pin Liang was overjoyed at Zhou Ruoming's words. He'd wanted Heibao bro to help Zhou Ruoming catch the person, and then lure Lin Yi over so Heibao could kill Lin Yi. If Zhou Ruoming's men were here, brother Heibao wouldn't be able to make a move. However, he couldn't bring it up directly. If he suddenly told Zhou Ruoming that he would help him find people to capture Tang Yun, then Zhou Ruoming would definitely be suspicious. Ming bro, you can't drag this out. What if that Lin Yi guy gets it first? You'll be in big trouble. Pin Liang said, starting to give Zhou Ruoming a hard time. That's true. Damn it, but I can't do it myself. Zhou Ruoming was in a dilemma. Liangzi, do you have any suitable people on hand? Me? Brother Ming, are you asking me to help you kidnap someone? If my dad finds out, he'll beat me to death. Pin Liang said, pretending to be troubled. You know about Heibao bro? Zhou Ruoming nodded, naturally aware of Heibao bro's situation. Pin Liang must have gotten a lot of scolding back home, but he could only ask for help now. Liangzi, you have a grudge with that Lin Yi guy too, right? Why don't you help me this time? That Lin Yi guy sent Heibao bro to prison. That's why you got scolded. He's your enemy too. That's true. Pin Liang nodded in agreement. All right, Ming bro, I'll help you this time. That's what you call a brother. Zhou Ruoming was overjoyed as he patted Pin Liang's shoulder. When can we move? Tonight at the earliest, right? I'll call someone in a bit. Pin Liang said. But, Ming bro, do you have a place to do something? Yeah, there's an abandoned building in the North District. There's usually no one there, and it's a gathering spot for my brother and his bros. Zhou Ruoming said. It's on Safflower Road in the North District. Oh, I know that place. Pin Liang nodded. Ming bro, wait for my good news. Brother, I'll remember this. We're brothers from now on, no questions asked. Zhou Ruoming patted Pin Liang's shoulder happily. Of course, of course. Pin Liang replied before walking towards the school gate, cursing inwardly. Why did he have to thank him for being used as a pawn? On the street behind the school, Pin Liang found a phone booth with an IC card and called the number Heibao bro had given him. He told Heibao about his plan for the next day, and Heibao bro agreed without hesitation. As long as he could get Lin Yi over, anything was fine. It was just kidnapping someone, and it wasn't like Heibao bro hadn't done it before. In fact, he did it so often that it was a walk in the park. Pin Liang's lips curled into a vicious smile after giving the order to Heibao bro. Lin Yi, who asked you to fight with me? I'm not only going to make your girl get played, I'm going to make you watch your girlfriend get played to death, and you get played to death as well. But now he had to think about how he was going to get Lin Yi to that abandoned building. He couldn't just run to Lin Yi and tell him to go to the building, could he? Whether or not Lin Yi would believe him, and even if he did, he couldn't just tell him out of the blue. What if Lin Yi thought he was the one behind it and beat him up first? Pin Liang frowned as he walked into the classroom. He couldn't think of a suitable plan on the way, and when he reached the door, he saw a student from another class snitching on him to the dean, Wang Jifeng. Pin Liang's lips curled into a disdainful smile. He hated snitches like that the most. They had no technique at all and they were just... HM? Snitch? Pin Liang was suddenly enlightened. As if he was suddenly enlightened. He walked over and patted the snitch on the shoulder. Thank you so much, brother. Zhong Ping Liang. What are you doing? Jifeng frowned as he scolded. It's nothing, Mr. Wang. I admire a student like him for being brave enough to snitch. Pin Liang nodded to Wang Jifeng before quickly walking back to the classroom. Wang Jifeng was a little confused. What was wrong with Pin Liang? When did he start admiring students who like to snitch on others? But Wang Jifeng didn't say anything. After all, Pin Liang didn't do anything out of line. Wang Jifeng didn't say anything because Pin Liang was his uncle, the director of the school. Lin Yi sat at the back of the classroom, bored out of his mind as he listened to Kong Xiaobo talk about fun. Lin Yi yawned when he saw Pin Liang walking towards him. HM? Lin Yi paused. What was the kid doing here? Was he itching for a beating, looking for trouble? Zhang Naipao and Gao Xiaofu weren't sitting here, so Pin Liang was definitely looking for Lin Yi. As expected, Pin Liang opened his mouth, but Pin Liang's attitude surprised Lin Yi. Lin Yi. Pin Liang greeted him with a smile, trying his best to make his smile look harmless and kind. Chapter 225. What trick? Ha, Lin Yi, you sure know how to joke. Pin Liang said with a chuckle as he walked over, plopping down on the seat next to Lin Yi. What do you want? Just say it, if not scram. Lin Yi didn't want to talk to him at all. It was like the guy was having a stroke today. Lin Yi, don't be like that. We had some misunderstandings before, but it's not something that can't be resolved. Pin Liang's words stunned Lin Yi. Misunderstanding? Lin Yi looked at Pin Liang interested. What was up with this guy today? He was smiling like a god just now, and now he was telling him that it was a misunderstanding? Did he hear that right? Was he stupid, or did he have some ulterior motive? Misunderstanding? Pin Liang, you know better than me if it's a misunderstanding or not. Heibao's in there. How can it be resolved? Yang Ming said with a half-smile. Oh right, I almost forgot. I think Heibao's out. You need to be careful. Don't let him cause you trouble. Ha, Lin Yi, you're such a joke. What does Heibao bro have to do with me, haha? Pin Liang laughed dryly. Alright, if you have something to say then say it. I don't have time for bullshit. Lin Yi frowned. This guy was acting weird. Actually, I have something important to tell you. Pin Liang lowered his voice. It's very important, it concerns the people around you. What is it? Lin Yi was getting impatient. He didn't know what Pin Liang was trying to say, but there was no way Lin Yi was going to believe everything he'd said before. It was all bullshit. I can't tell you right now. How about this? I'll treat you to dinner tonight and tell you in detail. Pin Liang said. Of course, you don't have to come if you really don't want to know. I'm just being nice. Nice? Lin Yi wasn't an idiot. He could tell from Pin Liang's contradictory words that the kid was lying to him. But why was he tricking her? He wants to treat me to a meal? What could Pin Liang possibly have to do with the people around him? Good intentions? If you have good intentions, then say it now. Lin Yi said lightly. Lin Yi, you know, I'm under a lot of pressure to tell you about this. This matter is related to another person, and I'm telling you about this behind his back. I've been struggling a lot in my heart. Pin Liang said worriedly. He won't let me go if he finds out that I told you. Snitch. Lin Yi narrowed his eyes as he looked at Pin Liang, trying to read his expression, but Pin Liang's face was still as fearful as ever. Pin Liang had put in a lot of effort in order to put on a good show. He'd planned it outside the classroom for a long time before coming here. Naturally, he couldn't let Lin Yi see through his act so easily. But Lin Yi was sure that the kid had ulterior motives, and so there was a problem here. There was definitely a problem. I'll tell you the truth. That person wants to commit a crime against someone close to you. I know about this, and I'm afraid that I'll be dragged into this. You know, not reporting is considered covering up. I'm afraid that I'll be dragged into a lawsuit, so I came here to tell you about this. Pin Liang said softly. To tell you the truth, I almost got sued for Heibao Bro's incident last time. My old man spent a lot of effort to settle it, and I don't want anything to happen again. I'm graduating soon, and I still want to go to university and date Meng Yao. I don't have time to go to prison for a vacation. Committing a crime against someone close to him? Lin Yi raised an eyebrow. Who was this someone he was referring to? Meng Yao? It couldn't be. Pin Liang shouldn't know about his relationship with Meng Yao. If that was the case, then it couldn't be Yushu. Then who could it be? Kong Xiaobo? Tang Yun? Alright, that's it for now. Class is about to start, so I'll be heading back first. You decide if you want to go or not. With that, Pin Liang stood up and prepared to leave. I'm very sincere, so don't blame me if something happens to you if you don't go. I'm the one who tipped you off. Mr. Liu walked in, and Pin Liang walked back to his seat. Lin Yi, however, stared at Pin Liang's back. This kid was trying to be nice for no reason, so he had to be hiding something. But his last sentence made Lin Yi suspicious. Lin Yi wasn't afraid of Pin Liang playing tricks on him, but Lin Yi would teach him a lesson if he were to play tricks on someone close to him. Lin Yi hesitated for a moment before sending Meng Yao a message. Pin Liang wants to treat me to dinner tonight. He said he has something important to tell me about someone close to me. Lin Yi looked at Meng Yao after sending the message. As expected, Meng Yao lowered her head and fiddled with her phone for a while. Lin Yi's phone vibrated twice, notifying him of a new message. He knows about our relationship? I'm not sure, but I don't think so. Lin Yi replied. Oh, then go see what he wants. Meng Yao replied. Since Meng Yao said so, Lin Yi went to see what Pin Liang was up to. After class, Pin Liang didn't come back to ask Lin Yi about his decision. Instead, he rushed out of the classroom. Lin Yi smiled faintly and followed him out. Kong Xiaobo followed closely behind. Boss, Pin Liang wanted to treat you to dinner? Kong Xiaobo was in front of Lin Yi, so naturally, he heard the gist of it. He was about to ask Lin Yi about it when Mr. Liu came in. Yeah, I don't know what he wants. He said he wants to tell me something important. It's related to someone close to me. Lin Yi said as he walked. You and Tang Yun are the only friends I have. I don't know who he's talking about. Someone close to you. Kong Xiaobo paused. Boss, Pin Liang went downstairs. Should we follow him? I'm not following him. Lin Yi said as he walked to the window in the hallway, looking out at the school field. He said that someone's trying to harm someone close to me, and he's here to give me the details. He's going to treat me to dinner tonight before he tells me the details. Harm the people around you. Xiaobo blinked, disdainful. Would he be that nice? If someone really wants to harm me or Tang Yun, he's most likely watching from the sidelines. Why would he tell me about it? Chapter 226. Boss Lin Yi - Boss, look, it's Zhong Pingliang and Zhou Ruoming. Kong Xiaobo pointed outside the window, towards the field. Yeah, I see them. Lin Yi's eyes narrowed as he looked at Zhong Pingliang and Kong Xiaobo, but he couldn't see what they were talking about because they were too far away. Zhong Pingliang was definitely up to something. Lin Yi didn't know when he started colluding with Zhou Ruoming, running out the moment class ended and talking to Lin Yi about something. Zhong Pingliang was talking to him about something highly secretive. Could it have something to do with Zhou Ruoming? Boss, since Zhong Pingliang said that, I don't think it's possible that he's targeting me, but Tang Yun. Kong Xiaobo wasn't stupid. He thought of Tang Yun after seeing Zhou Ruoming. Yeah, you go with Tang Yun tonight to visit Fun. I'll go see what Zhong Pingliang is up to. If anything happens, contact me. Don't separate from Tang Yun. Lin Yi ordered Kong Xiaobo after some thought. Don't worry, boss. I've already protected sis-in-law. Kong Xiaobo patted his chest. The bell rang, and Lin Yi and Kong Xiaobo went back to class. After a while, Zhong Pingliang rushed in, glancing at Lin Yi before returning to his seat. Zhong Pingliang didn't bother Lin Yi the entire morning, as if he'd forgotten about what he said in the morning. It wasn't until lunch break that Zhong Pingliang walked over. Lin Yi, what do you think? Have you made up your mind? Where are we going tonight? Lin Yi asked faintly. Since he decided to see what Zhong Pingliang was up to, Lin Yi didn't decline. Tonight at Liangbai Hotel. Pin Liang added. It's my family's business. The bright white hotel was named after Zhong Pingliang and Zhong Fabai, but Zhong Fabai was too creative. The hotel's name was too cool. It sounded like a toothpaste shop. Sure. Lin Yi nodded. But you'd better think carefully. Don't play any tricks. Otherwise, the consequences will be very serious. You can imagine it to your heart's content for the whole afternoon. You can imagine the 10 great punishments of the Qing dynasty. Of course not. Pin Liang laughed dryly. Lin Yi, I'm doing this out of goodwill. Don't take it for granted. I'm sincerely compromising with you. Lin Yi looked at Pin Liang, not sure what else he wanted to say. Lin Yi, I know there's a conflict between us, so let's not beat around the bush. Since you understand what's going on with Heibao bro, I won't say anything more. Pin Liang suddenly confessed. I hated you to the core because you kicked me. I wanted to teach you a lesson, but you hit me instead. That's why I wanted Heibao bro to teach you a lesson, to let you know the consequences of pissing me off. But you didn't just beat Heibao bro up, you sent him to jail. This shocked and terrified me. Pin Liang continued. I'm not an idiot. I hate you, but I know I'm no match for you. The people I find are no match for you, so I don't dare go against you. Just like 2 days ago, when you kicked me to the ground. Do you think I'd dare say anything? I don't dare, I don't even dare fart. Lin Yi didn't say anything, listening to Pin Liang's bullshit. He didn't believe him at all. The kid's eyes were wandering. It was obvious that he was bullshit. But Lin Yi didn't expose him. He just watched as he continued his act. So, this time since I know about it, I can't pretend that I don't know. What I said before was a little serious. In fact, I'm not afraid of being implicated. The police will come to me and accuse me of covering up. Pin Liang explained. From Heibao bro's incident, you can see my dad's power, right? Heibao bro took the blame, and even if the police suspect me, they have no evidence. So, in the same way, even if the police suspect that I didn't report it, they can only suspect me. They don't have evidence, so no one can do anything to me. Lin Yi nodded cooperatively, listening to him continue. I said that before because I wanted to save some face. I didn't want to lose face in front of you. But now, I'll just tell you the truth. I'm actually afraid of you. I'm afraid that you'll come after me and beat me up. I can't beat you. I'm really afraid of you. That's why I wanted to tell you, so that you wouldn't blame me. Pin Liang said. All right, I'm being honest. You won't call me a coward, will you? It had to be said that Pin Liang's performance was spectacular, and his words sounded reasonable, but Lin Yi didn't believe him at all. There was no fear in Pin Liang's eyes at all. Instead, there was a glimmer of excitement. I see. Lin Yi nodded. I was wondering why you wanted to tell me all of a sudden. You're afraid of me. All right, I'll go with you tonight. All right, Lin Yi. From now on, I'll be your follower. If you need anything, just call me. I'll give you my position as the third of the big four. Pin Liang said. As long as you don't cause trouble for me, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Oh, I already have Kong Xiaobo as my follower. You don't need him for now. Lin Yi waved his hand, signaling Pin Liang to leave. All right, boss Lin Yi. Pin Liang smiled flatteringly as he turned around. The smile on his face disappeared along with it, replaced with the smile of someone who'd succeeded in his scheme. Lin Yi, be happy all you want. I'll be your follower for a few hours. You're going to die soon enough. After Pin Liang left, Kong Xiaobo turned around. Boss, is what he said true? False. Lin Yi answered without hesitation. Do you think his brain got kicked by a donkey? Why would he come here to suck up to you? I think so too. Then there's a problem. Kong Xiaobo nodded. After school, Kong Xiaobo followed Lin Yi's instructions and ran out of the classroom to wait for Tang Yun. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was slowly packing his bag. Pin Liang had already packed it up and was waiting for Lin Yi with a smile on his face. Help me carry it. Lin Yi handed the packed bag to Pin Liang without hesitation. Didn't this guy like to act like a follower? He'd let him. Pin Liang paused for a second before his smile returned. All right, boss Lin Yi. Lead the way. Lin Yi said faintly before giving Pin Liang a kick. Be smart. You're so clumsy. Chapter 227. Chapter 227, Waiting for news. What Pin Liang was going to do today was approved by Zhong Fabai, and so Zhong Fabai sent one of his men to drive an Audi and wait for him at the school gates. Boss Lin Yi, please get in. Pin Liang opened the car door and gestured for the driver to get in. The driver of the Audi was acting weird. What was up with Master Zhong today? Why was he acting like a follower? Why was he opening the door for someone else? But Fabai had told him not to ask questions he shouldn't ask and to focus on driving, so the driver pretended like he didn't see anything. Lin Yi got in the car, and Pin Liang got in the passenger seat. Master Zhong, where are we going? The driver asked after Pin Liang was seated. Liangbai Hotel. Pin Liang ordered. The driver nodded and started the car, speeding towards their destination. Lin Yi sat in the car, looking bored as he enjoyed the scenery, but in reality, he was watching Pin Liang and the driver's movements. The two didn't do anything out of the ordinary on the way. Liangbai Hotel had a vulgar name, but in reality, it was a very luxurious hotel. It was one of the best hotels in Songshan other than Pangzhan International Hotel. It was a 20-story skyscraper, with a fancy parking lot and flower bed in front of it. Lin Yi looked at the size of the restaurant and thought to himself that Pin Liang's family really was rich. Lin Yi bro, this way please. Pin Liang didn't wait for the security guard to open the door and got out of the car first. He opened the door for Lin Yi and stood beside him respectfully. The security guard who came running over was shocked. They knew Pin Liang was Mr. Zhong's son, so why was the young master acting as someone else's follower today? Chen bro, give me the car keys and you can go back. I'll drive later. Pin Liang said to the driver. The driver, naturally, gave the keys to Pin Liang without hesitation and left quickly with a nod. Lin Yi smiled to himself. It seemed like Pin Liang was going to do something behind someone else's back. He didn't trust this driver at all, so Lin Yi raised his guard. There was a waiter leading the way, but Pin Liang still extended his arm respectfully as he walked slowly in front of Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't pay attention to him. He knew that Pin Liang was just pretending, so he let him be. He wanted to see what this little bastard was up to. They arrived at a private room, and the waiter pushed the door open. Master Zhong, this way please. Fuck, do you know how to talk? This is Boss Lin Yi. Even I have to call him boss. Are you blind? Pin Liang glared at the waiter. Why was the waiter so blind? Yes. The waiter said quickly. Boss Lin Yi, this way please. Lin Yi nodded and didn't say anything. He entered the room, and Pin Liang closed the door with a fawning expression. Lin Yi sat down in front of the table and looked at Pin Liang. All right, spit it out if you have something to say. Boss Lin Yi, the food will be here soon. Let's talk while we eat. Pin Liang said flatteringly. He had been waiting for Heibao Bro's text the whole time, but there was no news from Heibao Bro. He could only stall Lin Yi for now. Do what you want. Lin Yi humphed coldly as he looked at Pin Liang's anxious face. He'd watch him continue acting. It wasn't long before the door was pushed open, and a waiter came in with a cart. Plates of delicacies filled the table, and Lin Yi couldn't help but click his tongue. This Zhong Pin Liang was really willing to spend so much money, wasn't he? But Lin Yi didn't have any special requirements when it came to food. It was fine as long as he could eat his fill. Pin Liang was a little disappointed that Lin Yi didn't seem to be interested. As far as he was concerned, Lin Yi was a poor student. It was a rare opportunity for him to have a seafood feast like this. Boss Lin Yi, why don't these dishes suit your taste? Pin Liang asked, thinking that Lin Yi didn't like seafood. It's fine. I'll just put up with it. Lin Yi said faintly. Pin Liang was so pissed he wanted to curse at Lin Yi. Put up with it? This table was at least tens of thousands, and he said put up with it? But Pin Liang thought about it. This was Lin Yi's last meal before he died, so he'd just treat it as a hongmen banquet. If there's anything else you need, Lin Yi boss, just let me know. Do you want some red wine? Eating seafood and drinking red wine is great. No need. I'll just have 2 bowls of rice. Lin Yi waved his hand and interrupted Pin Liang. Wah! Pin Liang froze. He cursed at Lin Yi for wasting food. How could he eat such delicious seafood with rice? Are you kidding me? But Pin Liang still got a waiter and ordered 2 bowls of rice for Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't hold back after taking the rice. He started gobbling it up, and in the blink of an eye, a table full of delicacies and 2 bowls of rice went into Lin Yi's stomach. It's all right. It's not as good as braised pork. Lin Yi patted his belly and burped. Pin Liang almost rolled his eyes. He should have just treated this poor bastard to braised pork. What a waste of money, and he didn't even get anything out of it. All right, let's get down to business. Now that you're full, it's time to beat someone up. Lin Yi said as he looked at Pin Liang. Beat someone up? Pin Liang paused. He didn't know what Lin Yi meant. He laughed dryly. Boss Lin Yi, you must be joking. About business, Pin Liang mumbled, but he was panicking inwardly. Lin Yi was eating way too fast. Their original plan was to get a bunch of seafood and drink some wine together. That should have been enough to buy them an hour or two. But Lin Yi finished the fight in less than 20 minutes. What was he supposed to do after that? Pin Liang could only pray that He Bao would hurry up and finish the fight. Just as he was praying, his phone vibrated in his pocket. Pin Liang was overjoyed as he took out his phone and looked at it. Getting a license, selling guns, loan sharks, revenge company, good price. What the hell? Pin Liang cursed. What the hell? He wouldn't be so troubled if he could really get revenge. Are you okay or not? Lin Yi was getting impatient. Pin Liang had to be up to something. He kept looking at his phone, evidently waiting for a signal. Yes. Pin Liang had no choice. Actually, it's like this. Zhou Ruoming likes Tang Yun. You know that, right? Chapter 228. How dare you hit me? Zhou Ruoming knew about our conflict, so he came to me to discuss how to deal with you. Pin Liang nodded. Ah, Lin Yi boss, you won't be angry about what I'm about to say, will you? Pin Liang pretended to be scared. Just say it, don't talk so much point. If it's not your business, I won't bother you. Lin Yi frowned. All right, I just said it casually. Tang Yun's with Lin Yi, so you won't have a chance anymore. Might as well force yourself on her. Pin Liang didn't see any change in Lin Yi's expression before continuing. What I didn't expect was that my words actually reminded that Zhou Ruoming, saying that it wasn't too late for him to force himself on Tang Yun, and that she'd follow him as long as he got on top of her. I was afraid of Zhou Ruoming's power, so I could only say yes. But after I went back, the more I thought about it, I was covering up a crime. If I didn't report it, Lin Yi boss would never forgive me if you knew the truth. So When is he going to carry out this plan? Lin Yi interrupted Pin Liang and grabbed him by the collar. Lin Yi had guessed that Pin Liang was up to no good, but he didn't expect him to be this devious, encouraging Zhou Ruoming to deal with Tang Yun. Lin Yi didn't believe that things were as simple as Pin Liang made them out to be. This plan was most likely Pin Liang's idea, and now he was here to talk to him about it. He was treating him to a meal, and he was stalling for time. Not good. Lin Yi's heart tightened as a bad feeling rose in his heart. If what Pin Liang said was true, then Zhou Ruoming's plan to deal with Tang Yun might be tonight. Pin Liang didn't expect Lin Yi to grab him by the neck just because he said something wrong. Is it tonight? Lin Yi's hand wrapped around Pin Liang's neck. Ahem. Boss Lin Yi, let go first. Pin Liang coughed twice, his face red. He couldn't catch his breath anymore. Where are they? Lin Yi smiled coldly as he tightened his grip. If it weren't for the fact that he didn't know where Tang Yun went downstairs, Lin Yi would have squeezed Pin Liang to death. Pin Liang, I advise you to stop pretending. You think I'll believe you just because you're bad at acting? Fuck. Pin Liang took a deep breath. Fuck, you're messing with me. Since Lin Yi had seen through him, Pin Liang didn't bother pretending anymore. There was no need for it, but he was starting to regret pretending to be Lin Yi's follower for so long. Where's Tang Yun? Lin Yi loosened his grip on Pin Liang's hand. Lin Yi knew that Pin Liang would faint from lack of oxygen if he kept squeezing like this. Maybe Zhou Ruoming killed her already? Pin Liang smiled coldly. There was no need to keep up the act now that they were on bad terms. What? You want to beat me up? But you better think about it. If you beat me up, you won't be able to see Tang Yun anymore. Haha. Beat me up? Beat me up. Pin Liang looked like he had Lin Yi in the bag. He was sure that Lin Yi wouldn't dare do anything to him now. Bang. Ouch. Pin Liang wailed as he held his nose. It was bleeding from Lin Yi's slap. You dare hit me? Do you believe that I won't tell you where Tang Yun is? Bang. Ah. Pin Liang looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. You don't want to know where Tang Yun is? Bang. If Lin Yi had wanted to kill Pin Liang, he'd be dead already. Lin Yi was just teaching him a lesson. You won't keep it a secret. You wouldn't have come looking for me if you didn't want to. If I'm not wrong, you and Zhou Ruoming are working together to deal with me, right? You probably found someone to ambush Zhou Ruoming at the place where he's going to commit the crime. Then, you pretended to be friendly and gave me a tip. You're actually trying to lure me there and take revenge on me. Am I right? And the person who ambushed me. Let me think. It should be Heibao, right? How could it be so coincidental? He just escaped yesterday and you're already targeting me today. Only that idiot Heibao would help you take revenge. He must hate me for sending him to prison, right? Humph, so what if you're right? Pin Liang humphed coldly. You're just wasting time here. Tang Yun would have been dead by then. Haha, go ahead and hit me. If you have time to hit me all you want. It's your time that's being wasted. Bang! Another punch. Are you crazy? Pin Liang looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. You still have time to hit me? You keep looking at your phone, which means that you have a secret code with Heibao. He'll contact you via text or some other method after he's done. Lin Yi curled his lips and looked at Pin Liang with pity. But you haven't received the text yet. That means that Heibao hasn't succeeded yet. You don't have to be so alarmist. Pin Liang took a deep breath and clenched his fists. He felt like a fool, being toyed with by Lin Yi like this. Lin Yi had guessed his thoughts and plans correctly. It made him want to go crazy. He wanted nothing more than for Lin Yi to die right now. But Pin Liang loosened his fists in the end. He only needed to trick Lin Yi into going to Heibao Bro's place, and Heibao Bro would be able to take care of Lin Yi. He'd be able to get his revenge then. At that thought, Pin Liang swallowed the humiliation. Fine, I'll take it that you're right. Then I won't waste any more words with you. Come with me. Heibao Bro's waiting for you at the unfinished building on Red Flower Street. You wouldn't have gotten beaten up if you'd listened to me earlier. Lin Yi patted the back of Pin Liang's head. Don't do stupid things like that again. Pho! Pin Liang gritted his teeth. Endure. Endure. I'll turn into a ninja turtle and let you be cocky for a while. You'll know what tragedy is next. Do you still think that Heibao Bro is still the old Heibao Bro? Ha 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 ha. The thought of Lin Yi's shocked expression when he saw Heibao Bro's strength skyrocketing. Pin Liang felt a wave of satisfaction wash over him, and the pain on his face was thrown to the back of his mind. In the hallway of Liangbai Hotel, the waiters looked at the blood-stained Pin Liang, curious, but didn't dare ask. They were all wondering what was wrong with Master Zhong today. Master Zhong, what are you doing? The manager on the first floor was Fabai's confidant. He saw Pin Liang's expression and quickly asked. Chapter 229. Knocked out, the manager saw that Pin Liang didn't want people to stick their noses in his business, and quickly moved to the side to make way for him. Pin Liang was depressed. His image as young Master Zhong was ruined today. He was the young master of Liangbai Group, but he got beaten up like this in his own hotel. How would he be able to show his face in public if this got out? But, thinking about how Lin Yi would be sent to heaven by Heibao Bro soon, Pin Liang held it in. He didn't pretend to be a follower this time, and got into his car, not opening the door for Lin Yi anymore. Lin Yi didn't mind, either, and got in the front passenger seat. Now that he'd made things clear with Lin Yi, Pin Liang didn't care if Heibao got what he wanted or not. Even if he didn't, it didn't matter if Lin Yi stopped Zhou Ruoming. It was a bit of a shame that he couldn't let Lin Yi die in pain, but there was nothing he could do about it now. Bzzz. Pin Liang's phone vibrated. Pin Liang was about to take it out for a look when he remembered that Lin Yi was beside him. He quickly pulled his hand back. Heibao texted? Let me see. Lin Yi said, glancing at Pin Liang. All right. Pin Liang handed the phone to Lin Yi, depressed. He finally understood what it meant to not fight when the odds were against him. Not showing Lin Yi would only get him beaten up. Lin Yi, on the other hand, picked the weak spots that wouldn't kill him. Pin Liang was in so much pain that he didn't pass out, and provoking Lin Yi was asking for it. Pin Liang didn't dare go overboard now that they were at loggerheads. Lin Yi had already seen through him, and he didn't have anything to threaten Lin Yi with. It's done. There were only a few words on the phone screen, but Lin Yi was sure that it was a message from Black Panther. Drive faster. Lin Yi said as he tossed Pin Liang's phone onto the driver's seat. Pin Liang wanted to buy some time, but he was afraid that Lin Yi wouldn't be happy. He stepped on the gas pedal. It was past rush hour anyway, and there weren't many cars on the road. Zhou Ruoming? A hoarse voice came from the other side of the phone. I am. May I know if you're one of Master Zhong's men? Zhou Ruoming had been waiting for Pin Liang's men to contact him. Yes, I have arrived at the unfinished building. Where are you? The man asked. I'm nearby, Zhou Ruoming said. Okay, I'll wait for you in front of the unfinished building. The other party hung up the phone without waiting for Zhou Ruoming to say anything. Zhou Ruoming quickly ran to the unfinished building, but froze when he saw who it was. Black Panther Bro. It was Black Panther Bro? What was going on? However, Zhou Ruoming was only slightly surprised. His expression returned to normal, but his heart was in turmoil. Pin Liang was using Black Panther Bro to do things for him. The news of Black Panther Bro's escape was reported on the TV, and Zhou Ruoming saw it as well. He thought that Black Panther Bro would leave Songjiang after escaping, and wouldn't stay here and wait to be caught. But things didn't turn out as he wished. Black Panther Bro was helping Pin Liang catch Tang Yun, and this confused Zhou Ruoming. But Zhou Ruoming didn't say anything. This wasn't something he was worried about. He didn't care why Black Panther Bro didn't escape, but whether Tang Yun was caught or not. Black Panther Bro, hello, I'm Zhou Ruoming. Zhou Ruoming ran to Black Panther Bro and greeted him respectfully. You know me? Black Panther's eyes flashed with sharpness. I'm young Master Zhong's good friend, of course I've seen Black Panther Bro before. Zhou Ruoming's heart tightened. Black Panther Bro, what I'm doing today is illegal, you have to help me keep a lookout. Okay. Black Panther heard Zhou Ruoming's words, and his expression softened a little. Zhou Ruoming let out a long sigh of relief. Black Panther escaped, and he recognized him. What if Black Panther didn't trust him and killed him? But Zhou Ruoming wasn't stupid. He quickly said that what he was going to do today was illegal as well. So if one of them reported the other wouldn't be able to get away with it. Black Panther Bro, what about Tang Yun? Zhou Ruoming turned his attention back to Tang Yun when he saw that Black Panther Bro wasn't going to talk about it anymore. In fact, whether Black Panther Bro ran or where he went had nothing to do with Zhou Ruoming. He didn't want to care about this kind of thing. He fainted. I fed him the medicine. It's in that van. Black Panther pointed to an old white Nissan van not far from him. The van was quite old, at least 20 years old. Do you want me to help you? Thank you, Black Panther Bro. Zhou Ruoming's feet were weak and floating. He didn't dare carry someone up a building without handrails. What if he fell to his death? Heibao threw Tang Yun into an empty room and went downstairs. Fuck, this place doesn't even have electricity. It's so dark I can't even see. Zhou Ruoming fumbled his way up the stairs and sat on a broken staircase. He took out a small medicine bottle from his pocket and poured out a pill, swallowing it. Perhaps one wasn't enough. Zhou Ruoming thought about it and swallowed another one. This was a super strong medicine imported from Japan. It was said that one pill could last for 300 rounds. The male actors in those movies all took this medicine. Zhou Ruoming had an unknown problem. Impotence. He used to overdo it when he was young, so now he couldn't do as he wished. He had to rely on some strong medicine to increase his strength. Moreover, the medicine he used was getting stronger and stronger, and the normal ones didn't have much effect anymore. She'd eaten 2 pills this time, so she'd be able to fight for an hour or 2. Ha! Ruoming started laughing lewdly. Tangin, I'll treat you well later. I'll let you have a taste of my power. After taking the medicine, Zhou Ruoming sat on the staircase, waiting for the medicine to take effect. He wasn't in a rush to check on Tang Yun, since she was unconscious and wouldn't wake up anytime soon. Chapter 230. You cheated. Lin Yi didn't need the kid for the time being, so he knocked him out without hesitation. Lin Yi didn't get out of the van, but sat in it and observed the surroundings. Lin Yi, get out. A person got out of the van and stood not too far from Lin Yi's car. It was Heibao. Lin Yi had guessed correctly. Golden class late phase peak? Lin Yi frowned. It was one of Lin Yi's golden fingers to be able to see through a person's true strength, but Lin Yi was still confused as to how Heibao could suddenly go from a person who didn't have much strength to a golden class late phase peak. Lin Yi wanted to wait a bit longer, but Tang Yun was still on top of the building. Lin Yi had no choice but to get out of the car. He had to take care of Heibao as soon as possible, or Tang Yun would be in danger. Lin Yi, you didn't expect this, did you? I escaped from the police? Heibao looked at Lin Yi like he was a lamb waiting to be slaughtered, his eyes bloodthirsty. Yeah, I didn't expect this, Lin Yi nodded. But there are some things you wouldn't expect. What do you mean? Heibao paused. I'm actually a golden class early phase master. Lin Yi's aura burst out of his body as he spoke, suppressing his strength to the early phase of the golden class. HM? Heibao paused, but then laughed mockingly. He didn't know how strong Lin Yi was before he became a golden class late phase peak. He only thought that Lin Yi was just a bit stronger than a normal person. But now, he found out that Lin Yi was a golden class master as well. But early phase golden class was nothing in Heibao's eyes. He had the strength of a golden class late phase peak, and early phase golden class was like an adult looking at a newborn baby. What are you laughing at? Lin Yi asked calmly. Haven't you heard of the division of strength in Jianghu? Heaven, Earth, Xian, and Huang. Although the Huang class is the weakest, it's enough to dominate the city. The early phase of the Huang class is equivalent to the strength of the special forces. Haha, of course I know. When Black Leopard heard Lin Yi's words, he almost burst out laughing. With your strength, you still want to show off in front of me? Do you think you are very powerful? Since you know, why are you still standing here? Do you want me, an early phase golden class master, to send you to heaven? Lin Yi said casually. Ha! Heibao smiled again, very brightly. He really didn't know what arrogance was. An early phase golden class was already this arrogant? Well, then let me see how powerful you, an early phase golden class master, are. Lin Yi's attitude today was very unusual, and it was different from Lin Yi's usual style of doing things. If Heibao knew Lin Yi's temperament, he would definitely feel that something was wrong today. Lin Yi, who was always not very flamboyant, became arrogant today. But Heibao didn't know, so he felt that Lin Yi was an egomaniac. Come on. Lin Yi looked at Heibao with disdain. I'll let you see the strength of an early phase golden class. Lin Yi put on a contemptuous posture. Facing Lin Yi's disdainful attitude, Heibao smiled coldly, as if treating Lin Yi as an ignorant person. His body moved slightly, and he suddenly threw a punch at Lin Yi. Lin Yi smiled faintly and threw a punch as well, meeting Heibao's fist. Heibao laughed at Lin Yi's stupid. He dared to take a punch from a peak late phase golden class with just this little bit of strength? A punch from a mid-phase golden class was enough to heavily injure an early phase golden class, let alone a peak late phase golden class master like him. If he used his full strength, then one punch would be enough to kill an early phase golden class like Lin Yi. This wasn't what Heibao wanted to see. According to Pinliang's instructions, he wanted to heavily injure Lin Yi first, then bring Lin Yi up and watch as Zhou Ruoming ravaged Tang Yun, letting him die in pain. So in order to not kill Lin Yi, Heibao only used the strength of a mid-phase golden class. He only needed to heavily injure Lin Yi. Bang! Two fists directly bombarded together, making a muffled sound. You're not an early phase golden class. Heibao's eyes were filled with disbelief, and before he could say anything, his whole body flew out and landed heavily on the ground. Lin Yi didn't wait for Heibao to hit the ground. He flashed in front of Heibao and stepped on his chest. Crack! Several ribs broke. Lin Yi kicked him a few more times, and Heibao's eyes rolled back and he fainted. Before he fainted, he said in pain, You cheated. Lin Yi curled his lips. My master said that a qualified assassin will do whatever it takes. In Lin Yi's eyes, there were no rules at all. As long as he could achieve his goal, it was enough. Talking about rules with an assassin was bullshit. If Lin Yi had revealed the strength of a late-phase golden class like Heibao from the start, Heibao wouldn't have been so careless, and he wouldn't have only used the strength of a mid-phase golden class when he punched. Although Lin Yi was proficient in assassination and had the art of dragon mastery, it wasn't impossible for him to defeat Heibao. It was just a matter of time. But the problem was that Lin Yi didn't have that much time. Tang Yun was upstairs, and Lin Yi didn't have that much time to waste with Heibao. So Lin Yi decided to use a trick, and the idiot Heibao actually fell for it. This IQ. Man, Lin Yi was a little worried. This kind of opportunistic method was a bit despicable, but Lin Yi didn't care about it anymore under the influence of his master and old Lin, two even more shameless guys. Lin Yi looked at Heibao and turned towards Pinliang's Audi. If it weren't for the fact that Pinliang and Zhou Ruoming both knew about this, Lin Yi wouldn't mind letting Heibao transmigrate. But since Pinliang and Zhou Ruoming couldn't kill Heibao right now, Lin Yi couldn't kill Heibao either. Even so, Heibao was already a cripple, and he'd just take it as Ling Shan getting off easy. Opening the Audi's door, Lin Yi carried Pin Liang to the building and threw him on the ground before jumping up to the second floor. Lin Yi was like a Spider-Man, his hands clasping the cracks of the bricks outside the building, searching for Tang Yun's figure from room to room. Chapter 231. How to Solve It. Tang Yun's clothes were still intact and there was only Tang Yun in the room. Lin Yi didn't know what Zhou Ruoming was up to. It had been a long time, but Lin Yi didn't have the time to care about him. He jumped into the room. Lin Yi picked Tang Yun up from the ground and checked her breathing. It was a little rushed. Lin Yi frowned. Could it be? Lin Yi was just about to check on Tang Yun's condition when he heard Zhou Ruoming's whining voice from the corridor not far from the room. Fuck, I took 2 pills and there's still no reaction. It looks like I have to take another one. I don't know if Tang Yun's side is affected yet. I don't want to be unable to cooperate when the time comes. As expected, the kid fed Tang Yun something. Lin Yi jumped down from the window with Tang Yun in his arms. He glanced at Pin Liang on the ground, and an evil smile appeared on his face. Lin Yi put Tang Yun in Heibao's van before grabbing Pin Liang and jumping up to the window. He threw Pin Liang on the ground and positioned him in between Tang Yun and Tang Yun. After doing all this, Lin Yi quickly returned downstairs to Heibao's side. Lin Yi hesitated for a moment and threw Heibao in the back of the van. He was not at ease and hit several acupuncture points on his body. This time, Heibao might not wake up for 2 or 3 hours. Lin Yi, naturally, wouldn't stay here. He drove Heibao's van and wanted to find a quiet place to check on Tang Yun. If Lin Yi's guess was correct, Tang Yun was drugged with a strong aphrodisiac effect. The car hadn't gone far when Tang Yun's body moved. Hot. So hot. Tang Yun woke up? Lin Yi glanced at Tang Yun, who was in the passenger seat. He didn't know if she was awake or in a half-conscious state, but her body was wriggling on the seat as if she was in great pain. Tang Yun? Lin Yi tried calling her name. Yeah, hot. I'm so hot. Tang Yun responded subconsciously when she heard Lin Yi's voice, but her body was still squirming uncontrollably. I'm so hot. So hot. Lin Yi sighed and stopped the car in a small alley. Tang Yun seemed to have woken up already, and had some consciousness. She wasn't completely unconscious. As skilled as Master Lin was, there was nothing he could do. His old comrades were all men, and it was almost impossible for them to be drugged. As a result, Lin Yi didn't even bother researching how to deal with it. He didn't have enough time to do that. He scratched his head as he looked at Tang Yun's blushing cheeks. He couldn't help but gulp. Don't tempt me, little girl. It's hot. It seemed like the medicine was starting to take effect as Tang Yun started to pull up her clothes. Lin Yi jumped in fright. He turned to Tang Yun. Hey, what are you doing? Hot. Help me. Tang Yun didn't listen to Lin Yi. Instead, she started asking for help from Lin Yi. Her hands didn't stop moving. It wasn't easy to unbutton her clothes, so Tang Yun just pulled at it. She tore off her short-sleeved school uniform, revealing the tank top underneath. Tang Yun's strength surprised Lin Yi. But at the same time, the fire Lin Yi had been suppressing flared up once more. Although Lin Yi wasn't a gentleman, he didn't want to take advantage of Tang Yun in a situation like this. With Tang Yun's personality, she probably wouldn't blame him, but she probably wouldn't care about him anymore. As Lin Yi was thinking about it, Tang Yun jumped up from the passenger seat and threw herself at Lin Yi. Tang Yun, calm down. Lin Yi knew that he had to go to the hospital. Lin Yi thought that it wouldn't look good for a girl like Tang Yun to go to the hospital. But now he couldn't care less. Hug me. I'm so hot, hug me. Tang Yun looked at Lin Yi in a daze. She reached out to pull at Lin Yi's clothes. Fuck. Lin Yi pushed Tang Yun away. Wasn't she asking him to make a mistake? Hey Jiao Lao, are you there? I've always been by your side. I've never gone far. Jiao Lao said. Lin Yi was speechless. Are you singing a legend? What's a legend? Jiao Lao asked. It's fine. Lin Yi didn't have time to waste with Jiao Yazi. Jiao Lao, she's been drugged. Do you have a solution? A solution. Let me think. Jiao Yazi fell into deep thought. A long time ago, I helped Master solve a similar problem. What method did I use? Although Lin Yi was anxious, he didn't rush Jiao Yazi after hearing that he had a solution. He let Tang Yun kiss, hug and tear at his clothes. Oh, I remember now. No, you guys practice different mental cultivation methods. Elder Jiao said in realization. There's no other way? Lin Yi was speechless. Yes, the one you practice will work. You just need to use the arts on these acupuncture points and your energy will enter her body. You'll be able to solve the problem, Jiao Yazi said. Elder Jiao said, I think I told you before that the energy in your body is omnipotent. You forgot. How would I know that energy can be used to do this? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Elder Jiao, tell me what to do. I can't take it anymore. I might not be able to hold it for much longer. Jiao Yazi told Lin Yi the names of the acupuncture points. Lin Yi started using the art of dragon mastery. The energy in his body was channeled into Tang Yun's body by Lin Yi. After a while, Tang Yun's body was covered in steam. Half an hour later, Lin Yi breathed a sigh of relief. Tang Yun had completely calmed down. Her face was red as she laid on the passenger seat, asleep. Her breathing was stable as well, not as hurried as before. Phew! Lin Yi let out a long breath. I didn't think that curing the poison would take up so much energy. Lin Yi didn't expect that half of the energy in his body would be used up just to cure the medicine, and he was starting to show signs of tiredness. Your level is too low, Jiao Yazi said coldly. Uncle doesn't need to use any energy to do this. Lin Yi rolled his eyes and ignored Jiao Yazi. Jiao Lao already looked like a master. What kind of master was his uncle? He kept comparing himself to his martial uncle. Wasn't that just humiliating him? Chapter 232. The first time Lin Yi sighed, regretful that he'd missed such a good opportunity. But Lin Yi didn't regret it. Things like this were best when both parties were willing. There wasn't much meaning to it if only one of them was drugged. Lin Yi could tell himself that Tang Yun was the one who'd initiated it, but who could he fool with that kind of self-deception? He pulled out his phone and dialed in Ling Shan's number. It wasn't long before Ling Shan answered, her voice a little tired. Hello? Lin Yi? What's up? I'm in a meeting. Meeting? So late? Lin Yi blinked. He'd wanted Ling Shan to come pick Heibao up, but Lin Yi didn't have a place to deal with him. Isn't it because of Heibao? He's a dangerous man, and if we don't arrest him soon, he'll be a threat to society. Ling Shan said. Right. You didn't tell me what you wanted. I'll be hanging up if there's nothing else. Oh, then you don't need to continue the meeting then. Just dismiss them. Lin Yi said after hearing Ling Shan's words. Dismiss? What do you mean? Lin Yi, are you joking? Ling Shan blinked, not sure what Lin Yi was getting at. Heibao's here, take him back. Lin Yi said. Heibao? He's here? You found him? You haven't fought him yet, have you? Keep an eye on him. I'll bring some people over right away. Ling Shan said happily before instructing Lin Yi. Don't worry, I beat him half-crippled. He's in the back of my car. Lin Yi said. Half-crippled? Ling Shan was suspicious. Isn't he golden class late phase peak? Why is he crippled? It wasn't that Ling Shan didn't believe in Lin Yi's strength. Peng Zhan had asked Lin Yi to protect Meng Yao, and that meant that he wasn't a simple fighter. But even if he wasn't a simple fighter, a golden class late phase peak wasn't something that could be easily dealt with. I don't know. I probably dropped a level. Lin Yi naturally wouldn't talk about his own matters. In this place, it was better for Lin Yi to keep a low profile. Lose levels? Ling Shan opened her mouth, but didn't say anything. Because what Lin Yi said wasn't unreasonable. Since Heibao could quickly improve his strength to the peak of the late phase of the golden class, it was also possible that he could fall back to his original level in an instant. Then where are you? I'll come over now. Let me see. I am at the entrance of the alley opposite Komatsu convenience store. Lin Yi looked at the landmark nearby. Little Pine convenience store? Ling Shan frowned, evidently not familiar with small stores like this. But, as soon as Ling Shan finished speaking, a colleague knew the location. I know Komatsu convenience store, it's downstairs from my aunt's house. Ling Shan turned to Lin Yi. Then wait for me. I'll be right there. Come by yourself. Hurry up, I have other things to do. Lin Yi said and hung up. He turned his head to see Tang Yin looking at him with her eyes wide open. Lin Yi jumped. Since when did Tang Yin wake up? You're awake? Yeah. Tang Yin was a little embarrassed as she lowered her head, not daring to look at Lin Yi's eyes. She wasn't actually sleepy, and she'd been wide awake before. She'd only been looking at Lin Yi after he'd gotten the medicine out of her system, and she'd been feeling a little tired after a short nap. She heard that Lin Yi was talking on the phone, so she didn't disturb him. She didn't think that Lin Yi would look at her right after hanging up. It made her a little nervous, and her face heated up as she remembered what happened earlier. Zhou Ruoming's medicine was imported, the latest technological product. After ingesting it, the person would have some sort of desire, but it wouldn't affect their consciousness. In other words, the person would always be in a conscious state. Tang Yin remembered everything she said and did, and now that she thought about it, she was the one who did such an embarrassing thing. She couldn't face Lin Yi anymore. She wanted to dig a hole in the ground and hide in it. Ha! Lin Yi smiled. How do you feel? Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? Hearing that Lin Yi cared about her and didn't tease her or mention what happened before, Tang Yin felt relieved. She shook her head slightly, indicating that she was fine. Thank you. Tang Yin didn't know how to express her feelings. She was shy, grateful, and a little annoyed. She sent herself to him, and Lin Yi didn't want her. What was he thinking? Didn't he like her? It was such a good opportunity, and he didn't do anything to her. Was he different from people like Zhou Ruoming? He didn't just want her body, or was she not attractive enough for him? Tang Yin started to worry as she thought about it. You're welcome, Lin Yi smiled. Wait a bit, I'll send you home. Okay. Tang Yin didn't ask what Lin Yi was going to do, but she heard that Lin Yi was talking on the phone. He was probably waiting for someone. The car fell into silence. Lin Yi didn't say anything, and Tang Yin didn't say anything either. The two just sat there quietly. Lin Yi. Tang Yin pursed her lips, and finally mustered up the courage to ask the question in her heart. Why did you reject it just now? Huh? Lin Yi paused. Why did he reject it? Tang Yin actually asked him this question? Did she want him to accept it instead of rejecting it? I mean, don't you like me? If you didn't reject me just now, if we did that, then I would have become your girlfriend too? Tang Yun was panicking as she tried to explain herself. Ah! Lin Yi suddenly reached out and touched Tang Yin's hair. You got the order wrong. Tang Yin's body stiffened, but she didn't move away. She let Lin Yi put his hand on her head. What? You became my girlfriend first, then we can do that, Lin Yi smiled. I'm a person with strong principles. Oh! Tang Yin nodded, not really understanding. She touched Lin Yi's hand again. Don't touch my head. It's your fault if I don't grow taller. That was what Tang Yin said, but her heart was in turmoil. Had she misunderstood Lin Yi all this time? Was there a fundamental difference between him and Zhou Ruoming and the others? Ah! Lin Yi smiled. It was the first time Tang Yin acted like a spoiled child in front of him. It was a memorable day. You're tall enough, no one would want you if you got any taller, Lin Yi teased. Then, isn't there still you? Tang Yin didn't know why she said something so bold. She lowered her head after saying it, not daring to look at Lin Yi. Chapter 233. Chapter 233. Heart grows closer. A police car's horn sounded from afar, and Lin Yi could see blue and red lights flashing. Ling Shan must have brought people over. Stay in the car and don't go out. I'll be back in a bit. Lin Yi said. Okay. Tang Yin nodded obediently, not arguing with Lin Yi. Lin Yi got off the car and opened the back door, pulling Heibao out. Ling Shan was driving a Jinbei police car, not the cheetah she'd been driving. This car was evidently the type used for escorting suspects. Ling Shan spotted Lin Yi right away, stopping the car in front of him. She'd heard Lin Yi say that he'd captured Heibao and beaten him to a pulp, but seeing Lin Yi holding Heibao like that still made her mouth drop into an O shape. You came alone, right? Lin Yi only relaxed after seeing that there was no one else in the car. Ling Shan was one of the few people who knew about him, after all, and Lin Yi didn't plan on letting more people know about him. You caught him just like that? Ling Shan nodded as she got off the car, looking at Heibao in Lin Yi's hands in surprise. Then how am I supposed to catch him? Lin Yi tossed Heibao on the ground. All right, I've given him to you. I'm leaving. With that, Lin Yi turned around and walked back to the van. Wait, you still have to come back with me for a statement. Ling Shan called out to Lin Yi. Make one up yourself. Lin Yi didn't even turn around. I'll give all the credit to you. Just say you caught him yourself, it has nothing to do with me. You! Ling Shan was pissed, but this credit. Ling Shan knew that catching Heibao was a huge achievement, no less than catching the bank robbers. With these two achievements, her reputation in the police department would reach a peak, and it would be a good start for her to get promoted in the future. If you want me to help you next time, then cut the bullshit. Lin Yi got back in the van and drove away, ignoring Ling Shan. Ling Shan stomped her feet angrily, picking up Heibao from the ground and throwing him in her car before driving away in the opposite direction from Lin Yi. Right, how did you get brought here? Where's Kong Xiaobo? Lin Yi asked after taking care of Heibao. Kong Xiaobo? I don't know. I left the school with Kong Xiaobo, and Kong Xiaobo said he wanted to take a taxi to the hospital. So he got on a taxi waiting for passengers at the school gate. Tang Yun said. After that, I didn't know anything, and when I woke up, I just... Tang Yun lowered her head shyly as she spoke. Lin Yi frowned and took out his phone, calling Kong Xiaobo. The phone rang for a while before Kong Xiaobo's sleepy voice came through. HM? Hello? Who is it? Xiaobo, it's me. Where are you? Lin Yi listened to Kong Xiaobo, who seemed to have just woken up, and relaxed. It seemed like Heibao's main targets were Tang Yun and him, and Kong Xiaobo should be fine. Otherwise, he wouldn't have left the phone with Lin Yi. Where am I? HM? How did I fall asleep on the street? Kong Xiaobo paused and shouted. Oh no, boss, Tang Yun, Tang Yun's gone. Boss, I lost Tang Yun. Alright, Tang Yun's fine. She's with me. Where are you? Do you want me to pick you up? Lin Yi asked. I don't know where this is, it's a small street, wait for me. Kong Xiaobo said sleepily. I took a taxi to the hospital with Tang Yun after school, and then I fell asleep. I just woke up now. Lin Yi was speechless. Alright, take a taxi home first. We'll talk tomorrow. Alright, I'm still a little dizzy. I'm relieved that Tang Yun's fine. See you tomorrow. Kong Xiaobo was still in a daze. Lin Yi hung up the phone with a bitter smile. He looked at Tang Yun. You guys might have been drugged, and Kong Xiaobo was thrown on the side of the road. Yes. Tang Yun didn't know who it was that wanted to do this to her. She was scared just thinking about it. If it wasn't for Lin Yi's timely appearance, she would have been. It's Zhou Ruoming. Lin Yi said. I'll let him have it easy today. I'll deal with him later. Ling Shan knew a bit about what happened today from Heibao, so Lin Yi couldn't just kill Zhou Ruoming right away. But that didn't mean he couldn't do it in the future. After this incident, making him disappear from the face of the earth was a simple matter for Lin Yi. Zhou Ruoming. Tang Yin repeated the name a little absent-mindedly before lowering her head and starting to cry. You? Tang Yin, what's wrong? Lin Yi jumped. He didn't expect Tang Yun to cry like that without any warning. It's nothing. It's nothing to do with you. I just want to cry. Tang Yun's voice was choking. Why did they bully me? Why? Just because my family's poor, so I'm easy to bully? Lin Yi sighed softly. Tang Yun's heart must have been suppressing this for a long time, and it only exploded today. This was a young girl complaining about the unfairness of her life. Wasn't Tang Yun's family the same? Mother and daughter were bullied even when they had a barbecue stall. What about other things? It was the same in school. Why would Zhou Ruoming go after Tang Yun instead of Meng Yao and Yushu? He knew that nothing would happen if he bullied Tang Yun, but if he bullied Meng Yao and Yushu, things would get out of hand. It won't happen again. Lin Yi patted Tang Yun's shoulder. He wanted to hug her, but hesitated. Just as he was hesitating, Tang Yun leaned into Lin Yi's embrace and started sobbing. Lin Yi didn't reject this time. He hugged Tang Yun's shoulder and let her cry in his arms. Perhaps Tang Yun didn't think that much, she just wanted someone to cry on. Indeed, Tang Yun didn't think too much at the moment. Leaning into Lin Yi's embrace was just to make herself feel more at ease. I'll send you home? Lin Yi asked after Tang Yun calmed down. Tang Yin was startled as she broke free from Lin Yi's arms abruptly, turning her head away in embarrassment as she let out a soft N. Lin Yi smiled, started the car, and drove towards the slums. Chapter 234. Chapter 234. Mrs. Tang's misunderstanding. Lin Yi parked the car at the spot he always parked in the slums. Then, I'll be leaving? Tang Yun was still a little embarrassed to face Lin Yi. Her crazy actions made her feel ashamed. I'll drive you. Lin Yi locked the car and got off with Tang Yun. Lin Yi looked at the tattered Tang Yun and took off his uniform, handing it to Tang Yun. Can you wear mine? Tang Yun hesitated, but didn't reject him. She was fine in the car, but now that she was back in the slums, she didn't know what people would think if they saw her dressed like this. Tang Yun took off her tattered uniform and passed it to Lin Yi. She quickly put on Lin Yi's uniform. The moment she changed, Tang Yun was only wearing a tight tank top. Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat. An 18-year-old girl had already matured to perfection. He didn't think that a run-down place like the slums could nurture a beauty like Tang Yun. Compared to Mingyao's thin figure and Yushu's plump figure, Tang Yun's figure was the most perfect. He didn't know how she managed to grow it. Lin Yi thought. Tang Yun was wearing Lin Yi's uniform. Although the style was different for boys and girls, it wasn't too obvious at night. It was just a little loose. She turned around after putting on her clothes, only to see that Lin Yi wasn't wearing anything on his upper body. It's almost summer. It's not hot. It's fine. Lin Yi smiled casually. Then, you'll wear mine? Tang Yun was touched and embarrassed at the same time. Wear yours. Lin Yi paused. Putting aside the question of whether or not he'd be able to wear it, the girl's fragrance alone was enough to intoxicate him. Then you should wear it. You'll catch a cold. Tang Yun remembered that Lin Yi wouldn't be able to wear her own clothes. Although there were a lot of naked men in the slums during the summer, Tang Yun was used to them sitting together and playing cards and eating. But it was only spring. Although the weather was hot, no one would be naked at this time of the year. People would think that they were crazy. Lin Yi put Tang Yun's clothes on him. The intoxicating fragrance from the clothes intensified. Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat. He didn't know why, but he reached out to grab Tang Yun's hand. Ah! Tang Yun's body froze when Lin Yi grabbed her hand. She wanted to shake it off, but she didn't want to. Her palms were wet with sweat as her breathing quickened. It was Tang Yun's first time being held by the opposite sex. It was the second time. The first time was when she was harassed by Li Erlin, and when Lin Yi pulled her into the car. But she didn't think too much about it. This time, Tang Yun felt as if she was being electrocuted. She was nervous and excited. Was this the feeling of first love? Tang Yun was a bit lost. Her mind was blank as Lin Yi pulled her hand and slowly walked forward. The two of them walked side by side in the old alley of the shantytown without a word. They looked like a couple returning home at night. Tang Yun snapped back to reality when they were almost home. She didn't know where she got the strength from, but she pushed Lin Yi's hand away and raised her head. I'm almost there. Should we go back? Since we're already here, a few more steps won't matter. Lin Yi smiled and continued walking. Oh! Tang Yun thought. What did he mean by a few more steps? Her mother would definitely misunderstand if they were to go back like this. But would it be a misunderstanding? The two walked closer and saw that Tang Yun's house was brightly lit. Even the lights in the yard were lit. Tang Yun was confused. Why would the usually frugal family light up the yard for no reason? She walked 2 steps closer and saw her mother standing at the door, looking around anxiously. Tang Yun subconsciously called out, "Mom!" But she regretted it after yelling. Lin Yi was still next to her. Although the two had let go of each other, they were still together at this late. Tang Yun wanted Lin Yi to walk her to the door and then leave. That way, her mother wouldn't be able to see him, but now. You're back. Mrs. Tang was surprised and happy to see Tang Yun return. You scared me to death. You're finally back. Mom, what are you? Tang Yun didn't know what was going on. You didn't go to the hospital after school. And you didn't go home. I asked Lu Xinwen, but she didn't know either. I was so worried that I called the police, but they said that you haven't been missing for long enough. There's nothing I can do. I can only wait here. Finally, you're back. Mrs. Tang nagged. She suddenly saw Lin Yi beside Tang Yun. She paused and awkwardly said, "So you went out to play with Lin Yi?" It's okay. Next time you go out to play, give me a call. Don't make me so worried. Mom, I didn't go out to play. Tang Yin explained subconsciously, embarrassed. Lin Yi sighed. He wanted to stop her, but it was too late. If Tang Yun were to tell Mrs. Tang about what happened tonight, it would definitely scare the hell out of Mrs. Tang. He wanted her to play along with Mrs. Tang's words, but it was impossible now. All right. You didn't go out to play, okay? You guys went to school together. Mrs. Tang seemed to be very happy that her daughter and Lin Yi were together. The worry she had before was gone. Mom, Tang Yun was speechless. How could her mother be like this? In your uniform? Mrs. Tang's eyes stopped on the uniform Tang Yun was wearing. This was definitely not her daughter's uniform. She saw her daughter's uniform every day. How could she not know? The uniform looked similar from afar, but the style was different. Most importantly, it was a size bigger than her daughter's uniform. Whose uniform was Tang Yun wearing? She then turned to look at the clothes Lin Yi was wearing, only to find that it was a torn school uniform. It seemed to be her daughter's, wasn't it? Mrs. Tang was shocked. You and Lin Yi. You. After all, her daughter was wearing Lin Yi's uniform, and Lin Yi was wearing her daughter's uniform. Could it be that the two of them? Mrs. Tang's heart skipped a beat as she thought of something bad. She approved of her daughter going out with Lin Yi, but it didn't mean that Mrs. Tang approved of them having a relationship so early. Mrs. Tang wasn't stupid. She knew what Xiaofan was going through. Mom, don't think too much. Tang Yun knew that her mother was thinking the wrong thing. She glared at Lin Yi. Why aren't you leaving? Chapter 235. Chapter 235. Tang Yin's prank. Mrs. Tang had wanted to stop Lin Yi and ask him how he wanted to treat her daughter, but her daughter chased her away. She sighed helplessly. All right, come visit when you're free. Lin Yi really couldn't stay for long too. Tang Yin was getting more and more out of hand, and Mrs. Tang was treating him as the culprit behind her daughter's death. How could Lin Yi not leave? He got into Heibao's van, and Lin Yi drove to Mingyao's villa. The van was a little broken, but it wasn't as flashy as Yushu's Beetle. Lin Yi decided to take it for himself and get a license plate from Lingshan. Getting Huaijuan to do something for him was just a matter of a word, but he still wanted Lingshan. He'd helped this girl out so many times, and if she didn't want to do something for him, he'd just ignore her from now on. It was only after Lin Yi left that Tang Yin grabbed her mother's hand. Mom, what are you doing? What do you mean what? Yin, this is a big deal. What if he doesn't take responsibility? Mrs. Tang panicked. Why are you so dumb? Haven't you learned your lesson from Fawn? Tang Yin looked at her mother's nervous face, and for some reason, a mischievous thought popped up in her head. Weren't you the one who told me to be friends with Lin Yi? Why are you blaming me now? Mrs. Tang was speechless. She was right. She was the one who'd encouraged her daughter to be friends with Lin Yi. And now she was blaming her daughter? Mrs. Tang felt a wave of sadness wash over her at the thought. She'd thought that Lin Yi was from a good family, and that her daughter wouldn't be at a disadvantage if she followed him. But now that something like this had really happened, she was starting to panic. Tang Yun wasn't in the mood to continue joking after seeing her mother's expression. All right, Mom, it's not what you think. Mrs. Tang paused. Aren't you? It's not that, Mom. Actually, I was captured by bad guys today, and Lin Yi saved me. Tang Yin didn't hide anything as she told her mom about how she was almost killed by Zhou Ruoming. She also told her mom about how she was drugged and how Lin Yi saved her. She lowered her head in embarrassment when she told her mom that she was the one who tore off her clothes. It's not that. Mom, I actually got caught by bad guys today. Lin Yi saved me. Yin. Mrs. Tang was shocked and angry at the same time when she heard that Zhou Ruoming almost killed her. She hugged Tang Yin. It's all Mom's fault. I can't protect you. Mom, don't say that. You've already given me enough. Tang Yin wasn't an immature child. She knew that her mother had been working hard for the family. That Zhou Ruoming is such a jerk. Thank goodness we had Lin Yi, or else. Sigh. Mrs. Tang said, a little scared. But do you think Lin Yi didn't do anything to you in that situation? Yeah. Tang Yin nodded. This was the reason why her impression of Lin Yi had changed. It was also because of this that Tang Yin didn't hate him anymore. He was different from people like Zhou Ruoming and Pinliang. Then I've wronged you. Mrs. Tang was confused. There was no reason for Lin Yi to reject a situation like this. Why did he reject her? What did that mean? Lin Yi doesn't like you? Mrs. Tang suddenly thought of a possibility. Perhaps Lin Yi didn't like Tang Yin at all. It was all wishful thinking. Tang Yin paused. Mom, why do you ask? Why would he reject you if he liked you? I've been around your age, and I understand how young people think. It's the only possibility that he could reject me in that situation. Mrs. Tang analyzed. Mom, don't ask so many questions. Tang Yin shook Mrs. Tang's arm, embarrassed. Why can't I ask so many questions? Of course I have to know what you're doing. Mrs. Tang was getting more and more nervous. If Lin Yi didn't like her daughter, then wouldn't their family continue to be poor? He said that as long as I agree to go out with him, he'll. Tang Yun was so embarrassed that she ran back into the house, ignoring her mother who was standing there. Oh? Mrs. Tang was glad to hear that, but she shook her head. Lin Yi isn't a bad kid. He'll treat Yin well in the future. Mrs. Tang was happy at that thought. Songshan's First People's Hospital, an ICU room. Ling Shan and a couple of police officers were sitting in front of an office table. Ling Shan frowned as she looked at her colleagues helplessly. Do you guys have any ideas? He Bao had woken up, but he didn't say anything about the sudden increase in strength. It was as if he could do whatever they wanted with him, and Ling Shan couldn't do anything about it. After all, He Bao's sudden increase in strength had nothing to do with the case, and Ling Shan couldn't force him to say anything if he didn't want to talk about it. She was just curious. Boss Song, I think we should just let it go. He doesn't have any strength now, and there's nothing we can do if he doesn't want to talk about it. This has nothing to do with the case, and we'll just send him back to the jail and close the case. A subordinate suggested. He was making sense after all, and Ling Shan couldn't look into things that had nothing to do with the case. Just as Ling Shan was struggling, a police officer came running out of the room. Captain Song, he said. He said? What did he say? Ling Shan asked. He said that he used some kind of pill a long time ago, and that he could use it to push his strength to its peak any time he wanted, but it wouldn't be long before he returned to normal. The officer said. He Bao wanted to sleep and I got annoyed with him, so he told me. Ling Shan's face darkened upon hearing the report. Saying something like that was as good as not saying anything at all. There was no value in it. But He Bao really wasn't lying. He did use a similar pill a long time ago, and he could use it with his sex arts to make his strength explode. Ling Shan thought about how weak He Bao was right now, and decided to believe him. There was nothing she could do about it. He Bao had indeed been crippled by Lin Yi, and if it weren't for the fact that he'd lost a level, she wouldn't believe that Lin Yi was that strong. Chapter 236. I'm looking for thief Lin Yi parked the van in front of Meng Yao's villa, right next to Yushu's beetle. The beetle was suitable for carrying Meng Yao or Yushu out on business, but the van had a lot of uses. Lin Yi was planning on going to his room to change his clothes after entering the villa, but Meng Yao and Yushu were watching TV in the living room. They froze when they saw Lin Yi walk in. Lin Yi, what are you doing? Acting like a gangster? Meng Yao looked at Lin Yi, confused. Didn't you invite Pin Liang for dinner? What happened to you? Don't talk about it. I'll change my clothes first. Lin Yi said as he walked to his room. That guy wanted to mess with me, he got someone to teach me a lesson, and now I'm like this. Lin Yi didn't want to talk too much about Tang Yin's situation, only saying that Pin Liang wanted to get someone to deal with him, and that's why his clothes were like this. Yushu looked at Lin Yi's back, confused. Meng Yao, on the other hand, wasn't paying attention to Lin Yi at all. Lin Yi took off Tang Yin's uniform, wanting to throw it away, but decided to put it in the closet after some hesitation. It was Tang Yin's clothes after all, and while Lin Yi didn't have the hobbies of collecting things used by pretty girls, Lin Yi felt that if he were to get closer to Tang Yin in the future, it'd be a memento. After taking a shower, Lin Yi walked out of his room with a new set of clothes. Shield bro, tell me what's fun today? Yushu was a curious baby, always wanting to get to the bottom of things. She wouldn't stop asking questions whenever she saw Lin Yi. It's nothing. Pin Liang just doesn't like me. He wanted to teach me a lesson, but he never got the chance. But He Bao got in touch with him, and he wants to use He Bao to teach me a lesson. Lin Yi said simply. He Bao. Meng Yao blinked. Lin Yi, you're saying that Pin Liang got He Bao to deal with you again? Yeah, what's wrong? Lin Yi asked, confused by Meng Yao's attitude. I heard my dad say that He Bao's strength skyrocketed all of a sudden, beating up a special forces soldier who just came back. Meng Yao said, Are you all right? But Meng Yao regretted asking the question right after. It was obvious that nothing had happened to him, and asking him was a waste of time. It's nothing. He Bao's gotten a lot stronger, but he dropped a level again after meeting me. Lin Yi smiled. I beat him up and sent him to the police station. Meng Yao said. What Lin Yi's saying? He Bao said He Bao just happened to drop a level? Did he think this was a game? Yushu, on the other hand, wasn't going to let Lin Yi go so easily. She started asking for details. Shield bro, tell me, how did you torture He Bao this time? Torture? Lin Yi looked at the excited Yushu. So this girl had a tendency? Lin Yi, of course, couldn't tell her the details, but who didn't know how to bullshit? Yushu couldn't believe her ears as she listened to a random scene of a fight. All right, Shu, let's go to bed. Don't listen to violent stuff all the time. It's bad for your soul. Meng Yao wasn't too interested in what Lin Yi was talking about. She wasn't as curious as Yushu was. He Bao's life or death had nothing to do with her. But I like it, Yao Yao. It sounds like a storytelling. Yushu said. All right, I'm done. It's time to sleep. It's not pretty if you don't get enough sleep. Meng Yao said. I'm going up. You can listen if you want. With that, Meng Yao turned around and went upstairs. Yushu stuck her tongue out at Lin Yi. Shield bro, tell me another day then. Another day? I don't have time. Lin Yi shook his head. He didn't have the time to tell a story to a curious child. The clothes you're wearing today aren't yours. Hee hee. With that, Yushu ran after Meng Yao. Wait for me, Yao Yao. Lin Yi paused, a bitter smile on his face. He'd thought that the toilet paper incident and Yushu were even. He'd seen her asking for toilet paper at school, so she wouldn't use the word toilet paper to threaten him anymore. They were pretty much the same after all. What he didn't expect was that the toilet paper incident was followed by a school uniform incident right after that. This girl's observation skills weren't just average. With a shake of his head, Lin Yi went back to his room. In the North District, in a 2-story building, a blood-curdling scream came from within. This was something Lin Yi hadn't foreseen. Originally, Lin Yi just wanted to throw Pin Liang up there and let Zhou Ruoming pretend that Pin Liang was Tang Yun in the dark, kissing him to disgust him. But things changed quickly, and Pin Liang's tragedy was even worse. Zhou Ruoming didn't expect that the more nervous he was, the more useless he became. He took 2 pills, but there was no reaction at all. In a fit of rage, he blamed everything on Tang Yun. He thought that it was because Tang Yun was Lin Yi's girlfriend, and it made him feel like he was using second-hand goods. That was why he wasn't interested at all. This triggered Zhou Ruoming's anger. He grabbed his belt and was about to teach Tang Yun a lesson. And so, after Zhou Ruoming ran in, he started whipping Tang Yun on the ground with his belt. After hearing Pin Liang's blood-curdling scream, he realized that something was wrong. The next morning, Lin Yi was woken up by his phone ringing. He thought it was Kong Xiaobo, but it was an unknown number. Hello. Lin Yi picked up. The person on the other side of the phone was silent for a while before asking carefully, Are you the great thief? Ha! Lin Yi was stunned. What great thief? You dialed the wrong number. With that, Lin Yi hung up. Sun Jingyi looked at the phone, confused. She didn't dial the wrong number, did she? Could it be that the identity of Taoist was a secret, and he didn't dare to reveal it, so he rejected her directly? It seemed like that was the only possibility. But Sun Jingyi didn't have anyone suitable to help her right now. She could only dial Lin Yi's number. Lin Yi saw the same number and didn't want to pick it up, but the phone kept ringing. Lin Yi had no choice but to pick it up. Hello? Didn't I tell you that I dialed the wrong number? Are you done? Chapter 237. Half of the man's offer, no. Lin Yi wanted to cuss. Was there something wrong with her getting up so early in the morning? Calling for a thief? HM? Wait, Thief Lin? Wasn't his surname Lin? Who are you looking for? Lin Yi asked. I'm looking for the great thief, Mr. Lin Yi. Sun Jingyi didn't understand why Lin Yi wouldn't admit it. You are. Lin Yi sweated. This call really was for him. But since when did he become a great thief? I'm Sun Jingyi. Do you remember that day at the floating cloud bar? Sun Jingyi was afraid that Lin Yi would hang up again, so she blurted it all out in one breath. Oh, so it's you. The image of Sun Jingyi's elegant and mature figure appeared in Lin Yi's mind. What's up? I want to ask you to come out of retirement. Sun Jingyi said carefully. Come out of retirement? Don't tell me you're still pretending to be your boyfriend? Lin Yi was startled. This Sun Jingyi was pretty interesting, coming up with the phrase, come out of retirement. But this girl was pretty dumb too. He lied to her about being a great thief, and she actually believed him? No. I have something else I need your help with, Sun Jingyi said. I want you to help me steal a document from a company. Steal a document? Lin Yi was startled. Did this girl really think of him as a great thief? Steal a document? Yes, Lin Yi, can you help? I can pay you a lot, Sun Jingyi said. Lin Yi was about to refuse, but he changed his mind when he heard Sun Jingyi say a lot. Steal what document? How much are you going to pay? Lin Yi was in dire need of money right now. Although Peng Zhan had given Lin Yi a credit card with unlimited overdrafts, Lin Yi always felt like he was living off a woman. Moreover, Lin Yi didn't know how to spend the money as he pleased. For example, Lin Yi could use his own money to pay for Xiao Fan's medical fees, but if he used his credit card, it would be troublesome if Faubert asked about it. Therefore, Lin Yi intended to make a sum of money as soon as possible. Moreover, his business plan required a large sum of money. Even if he had a few formulas and Xu Amin's reputation, it wouldn't be easy to start a company and build a factory. He would need a lot of money to start a company. It's a video of an employee of my company giving a commission to a supervisor of a company. Jingyi said. You know that my company is in the trades. Commissions and rebates aren't a secret in the industry, but a competitor took a video of it and was planning to leak it to the media. Jingyi said. Oh, and then? Lin Yi listened to Sun Jingyi's explanation and roughly understood the situation. It wasn't anything complicated. This way, the company will be punished and its reputation will be damaged. Sun Jingyi said. Then they must have some conditions to threaten you, right? You didn't agree to their conditions and instead asked me to steal the information at a high price. Why do I feel like you're asking for something far away? There was one more thing that Lin Yi didn't say. Did she think that the price of stealing the information from him would be lower than the other party's conditions? Master Lin's price was never low. Did Sun Jingyi really think that it would be the same as last time, 1,000 yuan? The other party's conditions. Sun Jingyi clenched her teeth. It wasn't that she hadn't contacted the company before, but the boss had said that if she slept with him for a night, the incident would be over and the video would be returned to her. But how could Sun Jingyi agree to that? How about this? I'll take 50% of their conditions. I'm a very fair person, and I don't cheat anyone. Lin Yi said. I still have things to do. Call me when you're done. Lin Yi saw Sun Jingyi's hesitation and hung up. They'd only met once. Did this girl think he was a laborer? There was a fee for leaving the mountain. Pin Liang limped into the classroom, his eyes filled with hatred as he looked at Lin Yi's seat coldly. But he didn't dare show it. Heibao Bro had been sent to prison by Lin Yi again. Moreover, he had been beaten into a half-cripple. Pin Liang had heard about this since last night. Fabai was a well-known figure in Songshan, and naturally, he had friends in the police department. He didn't know how Lin Yi beat up Heibao Bro and sent him to prison, but Lin Yi's strength was not to be underestimated. Heibao Bro had reached the peak of the late phase of the golden class, and could even walk on walls, but he was defeated by Lin Yi again. Just how strong was Lin Yi? If he didn't take revenge, he wouldn't be a man. The humiliation Pin Liang had suffered last night was something he would never be able to remember for the rest of his life. And it was all thanks to Lin Yi. Lin Yi, as soon as I get the chance, I'll make you regret being born into this world. Pin Liang clenched his fists. Boss, I'm really sorry for last night. I couldn't take care of sis-in-law Tang Yun. Kong Xiaobo blamed himself. It's not your fault. There's probably something wrong with that taxi. Lin Yi said. All right, how are you? Are you okay? I'm fine. They probably didn't do anything to me. Kong Xiaobo said. All right, boss. What happened after you and Pin Liang had dinner yesterday? Why is he limping today? Hemorrhoids? Lin Yi's eyes widened in shock. Was this so Ruoming blind? Did he think that Pin Liang was Tang Yun? How else could it have this effect? Lin Yi speculated maliciously. Who knows, yesterday Pin Liang called He Bao over to deal with me again, but I sent him to the police station again. Lin Yi explained, and didn't mention Tang Yun's capture. Lin Yi didn't want to talk about Tang Yun. Kong Xiaobo also saw that Lin Yi didn't want to talk about it, so he didn't ask any more. The most important thing was that Tang Yun was safe. Alright boss, do you think Fawn and are we compatible? Kong Xiaobo had been thinking about this question for the past few days, and it made him feel lost. If it was love at first sight, it would be more accurate to say that Kong Xiaobo fell in love with Fawn's beauty. Although it wasn't as beautiful as Tang Yun, it was enough to shock Kong Xiaobo. After knowing what happened to Fawn, Kong Xiaobo felt pity for this girl from the bottom of his heart. Especially when he saw Fawn's helpless and pitiful expression, it gave Kong Xiaobo the urge to protect her for the rest of her life. This was also the reason why Kong Xiaobo was so passionate these past few days. 18 years old was an age where one could go through fire and water for love. But after the impulse, Kong Xiaobo had to think deeply about his and Fawn's future. Chapter 238. Tang Yun has a date. Kong Xiaobo wanted to know if he really liked Xiao Fan, or if it was just a moment of impulsiveness. So he asked Lin Yi for advice. It's too early to think about this. Lin Yi naturally knew what Kong Xiaobo was conflicted about. He patted his shoulder. Right now, it's not about whether you two are compatible or not, it's about whether Xiao Fan will accept you or not. That's right. Kong Xiaobo was reminded by Lin Yi, and he suddenly realized that it was all his wishful thinking. He wanted to be with Xiao Fan, but Xiao Fan might not be able to be with him. If you really have feelings for her, you can try to interact with her. As time goes by, you will naturally be able to confirm your feelings. Lin Yi said, but no matter what decision you make, you must not hurt Xiao Fan. You can afford to hurt her, but she can't. Don't worry, boss. I understand. I won't tell Fan about this until I'm absolutely sure of my own feelings. Xiaobo said with a sigh of relief. Tang Yun didn't sleep well last night. She was chatting with her mother for the first half of the night. Although it was a chat, it was all about Lin Yi. Tang Yun's head was spinning, and she didn't dare to say anything wrong. Her mother finally fell asleep, and Tang Yun wasn't too sleepy anymore. She remembered that Lin Yi's clothes were still with her, so she got up and helped Lin Yi wash them. The next day, she brought the clothes to school, but she was troubled. How was she going to give the clothes to Lin Yi? Send it directly to his class? Wouldn't people misunderstand? After the first class, Tang Yun held the clothes in her hands, hesitating if she should give it to Lin Yi. She wanted to stand up a few times, but she sat back down. Tang Yun was angry at herself. Why couldn't she be more decisive? What's the big deal with giving him clothes? But if she asked for a formula from Lin Yi, the whole school would be in an uproar. If she gave the clothes to Lin Yi, what would people say? They might even think that she and Lin Yi were sleeping together. Tang Yun flinched at the thought of that. Right, she could ask Lu Xinwen for help. She suddenly thought of her best friend, Lu Xinwen. She could ask her to make an appointment with Lin Yi. Wouldn't it be fine if they met at the school field after class? Tang Yun put down the clothes in her hands and quickly walked out of the classroom, heading towards Lu Xinwen's class. After the second period, Xinwen came to Class 5's classroom with a heavy heart. She sighed at how depraved Yun was, asking Lin Yi to meet her in the field. After the second class, Lu Xinwen came to Class 5's classroom with a heavy heart. She thought that Tang Yun had really fallen, asking Lin Yi to the school field. Lu Xinwen wanted to ask her why she wanted to meet Lin Yi, but the 10 minutes after class wasn't enough. Lu Xinwen had no choice but to quickly agree. She planned to ask Tang Yun in detail at noon or at night. Hey, look for Lin Yi in your class. Lu Xinwen was a tough person and didn't care about anything. She grabbed a student from Class 5 and said, "Oh wait." The student didn't think much and went into the classroom to call for Lin Yi. Lin Yi wondered who was looking for him. He walked out of the classroom and saw that it was Lu Xinwen. What's the matter? Lin Yi, what's your relationship with Tang Yun? Lu Xinwen didn't want to ask Tang Yun, so she came to question Lin Yi. Me and Tang Yun? Tang Yun, heh. Lin Yi looked at Lu Xinwen's expression and found it funny. What's my relationship with her? You don't know? Then are you dating her? Lu Xinwen asked straightforwardly. She wasn't a pretentious person, so she said what she wanted to say. Not yet, Linny said honestly. What are you here for? Just to ask me about this? I don't think you're that gossipy. If you're in the mood, why don't you ask Kong Xiaobo if he's dating Xiaofan? I'm just asking. Xinwen curled her lips, but let out a sigh of relief when she got Lin Yi's reply. From what she could see, Lin Yi didn't seem like someone who liked to lie. He was a man of his word, and he wouldn't lie to people about small things like this. Then it's fine. If there's nothing else, I'm going back. Lin Yi rolled his eyes. Was this girl crazy? Why did she come to ask about this after class? Even Tang Yun's mother wasn't as gossipy as her. Wait, Tang Yun asked you to wait for her under the tree on the left side of the field after the 4th period. Lu Xinwen said and left without waiting for Lin Yi's reply. Under the tree on the left side of the field? Lin Yi rubbed his nose. Was this the first time Tang Yun asked him out? Back in the classroom, Kong Xiaobo couldn't wait and asked, Boss, I saw Lu Xinwen looking for you, what's up? Don't worry, Xiaofan is fine. It's my problem. Lin Yi could guess what Kong Xiaobo was thinking. One sentence was enough to make him feel at ease. Hearing that it wasn't Xiaofan's problem, Kong Xiaobo nodded and didn't ask any more. During the exercise break, Lin Yi saw Zhou Ruoming sitting under the basketball hoop with a sad face. The 4th-year students didn't need to participate in the exercise break, so the school didn't restrict these students. The so-called 4th year was actually a cram school for college entrance exams. In order to increase their income, some high schools would set up similar cram schools. The target was not only the 3rd-year students who didn't get into college, but also students from other schools or society who didn't get into college. As long as they paid the money, they would be able to stay in the 4th year forever. Lin Yi looked at Zhou Ruoming indifferently. Lin Yi had already marked this person with a death mark. Lin Yi wouldn't let go of anyone who dared to make a move on the people around him. A few classes away, Lin Yi saw Tang Yun and waved at her. Tang Yun glared at Lin Yi and turned away shyly, not looking at him anymore. Meng Yao and Yushu were always the focus of most boys. During the exercise break, many people would stare at them, but they were already used to it. Pin Liang stood by the window of the teaching building, his eyes moving from Meng Yao to Lin Yi. Ever since Lin Yi showed up, he'd never been able to do anything so smoothly. This person must disappear from his sight. Pin Liang was thinking about it angrily when his phone vibrated in his pocket. He took it out and saw that it was his father, Zhong Fabai. Dad. Pin Liang was confused. Usually, Fabai wouldn't call him when he was in school. Chapter 239. Chapter 239. The girl under the tree. Fabai called to confirm Pin Liang's intentions, to see if he was going to meet Heibao. Heibao bro's looking for me? Pin Liang paused before agreeing without hesitation. I'll meet him. Not only did he fail to kill Lin Yi this time, but he even sent Heibao bro to jail once more. This made Pin Liang hate Lin Yi to the core. He wanted to ask Heibao bro what Lin Yi was capable of, to be able to make Heibao bro suffer again. Alright, I'll pick you up at school later at noon. Don't tell anyone about this. Fabai relaxed a little at Pin Liang's words. He was worried that his son wouldn't know any better and wouldn't meet Heibao. It'd be bad if Heibao wasn't happy about it. But Pin Liang's straightforwardness surprised Fabai a little. Got it, Dad. Pin Liang hung up the phone and clenched his teeth as he clutched his wounds. He was unconscious yesterday, but was woken up by a slap with a belt. Pin Liang had never been beaten like this before, and it shocked and angered him at the same time. He realized that he'd been tricked by Lin Yi after he asked for the reason. Zhou Ruoming had mistaken him for Tang Yun, and while Pin Liang was annoyed, he was glad that Zhou Ruoming had beaten him up. What if Zhou Ruoming had hugged him and called him Tang Yun? Wouldn't that be disgusting? The more Pin Liang thought about it, the more he felt that Lin Yi was despicable. 4th period ended, and Lin Yi stood up in a hurry to go to his appointment. Xiaobo called out to him. Boss, are you going to the washroom? I'm not going. Lin Yi was speechless. Then why don't you come with me? I'm going. Kong Xiaobo said. I'm going on a date. You go by yourself. Lin Yi patted Kong Xiaobo's shoulder. Why was this guy so annoying today? Why was he asking him to go to the washroom? Ah. Then hurry up and go. Only then did Kong Xiaobo react. He was a little embarrassed. Boss, I'll talk to you at noon. Actually, I have something to talk to you about. Then let's talk at noon. Lin Yi quickly ran out of the classroom. He didn't know if Tang Yun was in a hurry because of Kong Xiaobo. At noon, the sun shone brightly on the open sports field. Apart from a few students playing basketball, there were not many people playing on the sports field at this time. Zhou Ruoming made a layup, but he suddenly saw Lin Yi walking out of the building. He lost his balance and fell to the ground. The basketball in his hand also flew to the side. He had already developed some psychological trauma towards Lin Yi. This guy was not human. Although there was no evidence to prove that it was Lin Yi who did it, was there still a need for evidence? There was no need at all. Heibao Bro was nowhere to be found, and Pin Liang was knocked out and left at Tang Yun's place. If this wasn't Lin Yi's doing, then was it Superman? Was it Ultraman? Zhou Ruoming didn't expect Lin Yi to be this strong. He tried to do something to Tang Yun yesterday, so when he saw Lin Yi, he subconsciously thought that Lin Yi was here to cause trouble. That's why he lost his balance and fell to the ground. Lin Yi looked at Zhou Ruoming coldly. In Lin Yi's eyes, Zhou Ruoming was no different from an ant. He could make him disappear in a matter of minutes, but not now. The situation in Songshan wasn't clear, and Lin Yi didn't want to get involved. He didn't want to cause too much trouble. Plus, Lin Yi had really fallen in love with the school life. The days of bullets and bullets had made Lin Yi sick of it. At the end of the day, Lin Yi was still an 18-year-old boy. Throwing himself into the environment that an 18-year-old should be living in, it was new and exciting. That distant youth's maturity was buried deep in his heart. Lin Yi quickly made his way to the small forest at the side of the field. A beautiful girl stood under the shade of the trees, her eyes bright and alluring. A light breeze brushed past her skirt, giving off the feeling of a main character from the school's manga. Seeing Lin Yi run past, the girl's lips curved into a charming smile before shyly lowering her head. Lin Yi ran in front of her. Tang Yun, you've been here for a while? Kong Xiaobo was bothering me, so I wasted some time. I just got here. Tang Yun shook her head and took a deep breath. She reached her hands out from behind and handed them over. I've already washed your clothes yesterday. Ah. Lin Yi didn't expect Tang Yun to call him over for his school uniform. Why do you need to wash it? It's not like it's dirty when you wear it and you smell. Don't say it. Tang Yun raised her fist, a little embarrassed as she pretended to hit Lin Yi. How can you not be serious? I'm leaving. Let's go back together. I need to go back too. Lin Yi pointed at the school building. Yeah, it was on the way. Tang Yun hesitated for a moment, but didn't say anything. She walked forward lightly. Lin Yi quietly followed beside her. There weren't many people on the field, but there were some who'd heard about Lin Yi and Tang Yun's relationship. They didn't believe it before, but now that they saw them walking together, they couldn't help but think that the love letter incident was real. Everyone sighed, but didn't dare get close. What kind of existence was Lin Yi? He was one of the young bullies who'd beaten up Zhou Ruoming and Pin Liang, and was still running rampant in the school. Who would dare to criticize such a person face to face? As they passed by the basketball hoop, Lin Yi saw Wang Jifeng scolding Zhou Ruoming's students with a serious face. Zhou Ruoming and his lackeys had a sad look on their faces. You're here to prepare for the university entrance exams, but you only play basketball and smoke. What are you doing here? If you don't want to study, then get the hell out of here. There's a limited number of people who want to come. Wang Jifeng was in charge of the fourth-year cram school, and he had the power to kick out any student he wanted. These students weren't students themselves, so he didn't need to report to the school or the education bureau. Lin Yi stopped walking, but Tang Yun was avoiding his gaze, not daring to look at Zhou Ruoming. She wanted to walk away quickly, but Lin Yi grabbed her hand. Ah! Tang Yun cried out, but it attracted Wang Jifeng and Zhou Ruoming's attention. Jifeng saw Lin Yi and Tang Yun holding hands in the field, and felt a little awkward. He was the dean, and he was reprimanding a student, and there were other students holding hands in the middle of school. He couldn't do anything about it at all. Wang Jifeng could only smile and nod at Lin Yi, hoping that he'd pull Tang Yun away. They could flirt wherever they wanted, as long as it wasn't right under his nose. Chapter 240. Face slap. Dean Wang, do you mind if I take up a minute of your time? Lin Yi smiled at Wang Jifeng. Ah, I don't mind, it's fine, it's fine. Wang Jifeng was troubled. He couldn't control himself and got caught red-handed by Lin Yi in the office. He wouldn't have to do this otherwise. Lin Yi nodded and pulled a panicking Tang Yun towards Zhou Ruoming. Tang Yun tried to pull her hand out of Lin Yi's grasp, but she wasn't as strong as he was. Tang Yun was stupefied at this point. Holding hands with a boy in front of the dean was something she didn't even dare think about. He might even be expelled from the school. But the dean didn't seem to notice it at all. He was still treating Lin Yi with that kind, friendly face of his. Truth be told, Tang Yun was afraid of Zhou Ruoming from the bottom of her heart. It was a fear that came from the heart. Zhou Ruoming did things without a care in the world, and she didn't know what Zhou Ruoming would do to her next. But she didn't feel that way towards Lin Yi, not in the past, and definitely not now. Slap. A loud slap landed on Zhou Ruoming's face. Wang Jifeng was shocked, and so were Zhou Ruoming's lackeys. Even Tang Yun looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. Did he just slap Ruoming in front of the dean? Zhou Ruoming's eyes were filled with hatred and fear after the shock. Zhou Ruoming was truly afraid of Lin Yi. The kid was too ruthless, and not just any normal kind of ruthless person. I slapped you to wake you up. Tang Yun is my woman. If you try anything on her again, I'll make you disappear from this school. Lin Yi's words were ambiguous. Disappear from the school. Lin Yi's intention was to make him disappear from the face of the earth. Overbearing. Arrogant. Arrogant. This was the evaluation of Lin Yi by the students who saw this scene. Who would dare to slap someone in the face in front of the head of teaching? Who would dare to do it? But Lin Yi did it, and Wang Jifeng didn't say a word. Not only that, Lin Yi said that Tang Yun was his woman in front of Wang Jifeng. Since the founding of Songshan's first school, no one had ever dared to do that. Even the legendary head of the Big Four bullies wasn't as arrogant as Lin Yi, right? Tang Yun's face was a little red. She was a little angry, but there was also a trace of happiness in her heart. Lin Yi was calling her his woman in front of the dean? This crazy thing made Tang Yun, who had always been a good girl in school, suddenly feel a trace of rebellious joy. All right, Mr. Wang, you can continue. I think these guys are asking for a beating, don't you think so? Lin Yi said to Wang Jifeng after slapping Zhou Ruoming. It was as if the slap wasn't from him. Ha ha. Wang Jifeng laughed dryly. He wasn't in the mood to scold Zhou Ruoming anymore. He waved his hand and let them leave. Lin Yi also pulled Tang Yun towards the school building. Let go of me. Tang Yun came back to her senses after 2 steps. She quickly swung her arms, trying to break free from Lin Yi's hand. Lin Yi was afraid that she would run away, but now he wasn't afraid anymore. He let go of her hand. Why did you say that I'm your woman? Tang Yun's eyes widened as she looked at Lin Yi. What do you want me to do in the future? How embarrassing would that be? I just want you to see that there's nothing to be afraid of with Zhou Ruoming. Lin Yi didn't answer the question directly. I can feel your fear of him, so I'm using my actions to tell you that I can beat him up any time I want, even in front of the dean. I'm not afraid of Zhou Ruoming at all. Ah. Tang Yun froze. She didn't think that Lin Yi would do this for this reason. She felt touched. Now that she thought about it, Zhou Ruoming didn't seem as scary as before. An evil man was pushed down from his pedestal by Lin Yi. An evil man who could be slapped in the face by Lin Yi at any time, but didn't dare complain. Was he still an evil man? Tang Yun didn't agree with Lin Yi's use of violence, but there was a saying that bad people needed to be beaten by bad people. But you can't say that in front of so many people. I'm a girl, not like you, shameless. Although Tang Yun was touched, she didn't want to change her words. Lin Yi didn't reply. Let's go, class is about to start. Okay. Tang Yun didn't refute. She didn't know why, but she didn't reject Lin Yi anymore. Even if Lin Yi said that, Tang Yun didn't feel any disgust. Right, yesterday. You helped me expel the drug from my body. How did you do it? Tang Yun didn't have time to ask because she was in a rush yesterday. She remembered it today and quickly asked. It's a type of Chinese massage. It's similar to acupuncture. Lin Yi naturally wouldn't explain the art of dragon mastery and energy. Tang Yun wouldn't understand even if he did. If that's the case, then, Lin Yi, can you cure Xiao Fan's illness? Tang Yun was thinking about this question yesterday. Although she didn't know where Lin Yi learned his medical skills from, it had been verified twice. It was effective. The first time was when Xiao Fan's illness acted up, and the second time was when he detoxified her yesterday. This meant that Lin Yi was quite capable. So, Tang Yun thought that if that was the case, could Lin Yi cure Xiao Fan's illness? It should be possible, but not now. Lin Yi didn't have any medicine to stimulate the nerves. He only had some that his old man used to strengthen his body. Lin Yi didn't bring it with him. Xiao Fan's leg needed acupuncture and medicine to recover. Acupuncture alone wouldn't have much effect. Oh! Tang Yun thought that Lin Yi's medical skills weren't good enough to cure Xiao Fan's illness. She nodded in disappointment. The bell rang. Lin Yi and Tang Yun quickened their pace. When they were about to reach class 9, Tang Yun suddenly quickened her pace. She probably wanted to increase the distance between her and Lin Yi. Lin Yi smiled and didn't follow. He waited for Tang Yun to enter the classroom before he quickened his pace back to his own class. "Boss, you were so cool just now." Kong Xiaobo turned around and gave Lin Yi a thumbs up the moment he sat down. "What do you mean?" Lin Yi was startled. "Did this kid see something? I was in the corridor just now. I saw you slap Zhou Ruoming in front of Director Wang. Boss, you're amazing." Kong Xiaobo was impressed. "No one else saw it, right?" Lin Yi frowned. He didn't expect Kong Xiaobo to see it. "No, it was just me," Kong Xiaobo nodded. Chapter 241. Are you sure you want half? "It's about Xiaofan," Kong Xiaobo said. "What, you've thought it through?" Lin Yi was surprised. He didn't expect Kong Xiaobo to think it through so quickly. "That's not it." Kong Xiaobo shook his head in embarrassment. "This kind of thing naturally has to be carefully considered. I want to get in touch with Xiaofan first. What I want to tell you is that I want to earn money for Xiaofan's treatment." "That's not it." Xiaobo shook his head, a little embarrassed. "Things like this have to be carefully thought. I want to talk to Fan first. What I want to tell you is that I want to earn money for Fan's treatment." "That's not it." Kong Xiaobo shook his head in embarrassment. "This kind of thing naturally has to be carefully considered. I want to get in touch with Xiaofan first. What I want to tell you is that I want to earn money for Xiaofan's treatment." "You want to earn money for Xiaofan's treatment?" Lin Yi was startled as he looked at Kong Xiaobo in disbelief. Is this kid really that great? The environment Lin Yi grew up in and the training methods of his two mentors made him a cold person. He'd ignore things that didn't concern him. If it wasn't his or his friends' matters, Lin Yi wouldn't care at all. "Yeah." Kong Xiaobo nodded. "Boss, do you know of any places to work? You're about to take the college entrance exam, and you're still going to work." Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry at Kong Xiaobo's words. The college entrance exam isn't really much. Since I have money, I'll just spend it. Many universities are affiliated with each other. Kong Xiaobo sighed. "Boss, with my results, it's impossible for me to get into a good university. It'll be hard for me to find a job after I graduate from a third-rate university." Lin Yi nodded. Kong Xiaobo's words made sense, but they weren't completely correct. "But that salary isn't even enough to pay for Xiaofan's treatment, let alone the affiliated school." Lin Yi wasn't trying to attack Kong Xiaobo, but that was how the labor market was. A salary of 2,000 to 3,000 a month was already considered high. Kong Xiaobo was a little disappointed by Lin Yi's words. He had to admit that Lin Yi was right. The money he earned from working was just a drop in the bucket. "My grandfather is old-fashioned. If he had opened a pharmaceutical factory, I wouldn't be like this. My second grandpa's family has registered the patent for the prescription, so I can't even sell it now." Heh. Lin Yi didn't say anything, but a plan was brewing in his mind. During the lunch break, Lin Yi and Kong Xiaobo were having lunch in the school cafeteria. Lin Yi received a call from Sun Jingyi again. "Lin Yi, have you thought it through? Can you help me?" Sun Jingyi's voice sounded a little anxious. If it wasn't an emergency, she wouldn't be in such a hurry. "Miss Sun, I think it's you who hasn't thought it through. Do you agree to my conditions?" asked Lin Yi. "Your conditions?" Sun Jingyi suddenly remembered that the conditions Lin Yi said in the morning were half of the other party's conditions. At that time, Sun Jingyi thought he was joking, so she didn't take it seriously. Now that she heard Lin Yi still say this, she asked curiously, "Are you sure?" "I'm sure. I'm honest," Lin Yi said. "This is the rule of the great thief. This is my ancestral teaching. If you can't accept it, then don't talk about it. I still have to eat." "Wait, Lin Yi, where are you? I'll treat you to a meal. Let's not talk about it." Sun Jingyi was afraid that Lin Yi would hang up the phone again, so she said quickly, "Oh, then you wait for me at the snack street behind Songjiang First High School. I'm there." Lin Yi naturally wouldn't refuse the money that came to him. "Well, I'm coming now. See you in 10 minutes. After Sun Jingyi finished, she simply hung up the phone. "Bro, do you have something?" Kong Xiaobo also heard Lin Yi's phone call, but he didn't understand what Lin Yi said. "And you eat first. I'm going out to do something." After Lin Yi finished, he got up and walked out of the cafeteria. 10 minutes later, Lin Yi saw Sun Jingyi at the snack street. Sun Jingyi was driving a red Audi A4L. Lin Yi was slightly surprised. He didn't expect Sun Jingyi to have a car. She seemed to have taken a taxi to the bar that day. But thinking about it, who would drive to the bar? How would they drive a car when they were drunk? Lin Yi didn't wear his school uniform today. His school uniform was with Tang Yun. So when Sun Jingyi saw him here, she only thought that Lin Yi was eating nearby. She wouldn't have thought that he was a student of Songjiang First High School. "Get in the car." Sun Jingyi waved to Lin Yi. Lin Yi opened the door of the passenger seat and sat in. Lin Yi looked at Sun Jingyi. Compared to the elegance at the bar that day, Sun Jingyi today was more capable and steady. She wore a white-collar business suit, which made her look more dignified. "Where are we going to eat?" Sun Jingyi also noticed Lin Yi's gaze, but she didn't care. Instead, she was a little proud. "Little handsome, you like me? Why don't you help me?" "You're only 20 years old," Lin Yi said faintly. "Do you think you can pretend to be a sister just by putting your hair up?" Sun Jingyi almost exploded from Lin Yi's words. She almost got into a car accident. "You? How did you know? You deliberately dressed up more mature for business." Lin Yi didn't answer directly. Lin Yi was proficient in traditional Chinese medicine. He could estimate a person's approximate age from details such as a person's face and neck, but he couldn't tell this to Sun Jingyi. "Okay, little handsome, but you have to admit that I'm still older than you." Sun Jingyi didn't want to talk about the previous topic with Lin Yi. Talking to this man, she would always be at a disadvantage. Sun Jingyi had to adjust her mentality. 2 years older than me. It's not considered old. A woman 3 years older can carry a golden brick. You're not even 3 years older. Lin Yi shook his head. "Your age is very awkward. You're neither too old nor too young. It happens to be in the range that I'm not interested in." Sun Jingyi's eyes widened. "Isn't this guy's words too irritating? You're not interested if you're not 3 years older or 2 years older. Tell me, what do you want to help me?" Sun Jingyi clenched her teeth. If she didn't really have something to do with Lin Yi, she would have kicked him out of the car. "Help you? It's very simple. I've already said the conditions. It's up to you to agree." Lin Yi adjusted himself to a comfortable position. Sun Jingyi's car should rarely have men sitting in it. The gap in the front row was not big. "Do you know what the other party's boss put forward?" Sun Jingyi was a little dumbfounded. "What conditions?" "It must be more difficult for you to accept than your so-called high price to invite me out of the mountain." "I don't know his price. How do I know if what you give me is a high price?" asked Lin Yi. "Then are you sure that you want to take half of the other party's conditions as a reward?" Sun Jingyi suddenly thought of a brilliant plan. She blinked her sly eyes like a little fox. "I'm sure. This is the rule set by my master." Lin Yi nodded and said seriously, "Your master is also a great thief?" Sun Jingyi was a little curious. "What about your master?"